What are we calling the show this year?
This is the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
Patriots Chinwag, Patriots Before the Game Show.
Jones, he's throwing it towards Thornton, left corner of the end zone, caught! Touchdown New England!
Hey, it's the Patriots.
The Patriots Pregame Show is your source for all the latest news and information before every game.
He took it to the house again!
Here we
the
go!
Patriots take the lead!
With Hardy.
My algorithm shows me mostly people falling down and hurting themselves.
What?
That's what I get.
Mike Dussault.
Deuce knows so much
about
he really
everything.
Does. He does. He's a musician. He's a renaissance
man.
I blow a little bit.
Paul Perillo.
I think he was
52. He's like, oh, 52.
Other than
came
that,
to play.
great story. Who had 446 for the first time I made fun of her?
And Tamara Brown.
Tamara's got a great story about a photo she took 15 minutes ago, and she tells the
Killed
hell out of it.
Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
I can't wait. I sound like I had more to say there, but apparently not. It's just I can't wait
To start the show.
to start the show. Patriots pregame presented by Dunkin. It's Hardy, it's Deuce, it's Tamara, it's Paul Perillo. How is everybody?
Wicked awesome guy.
Were you a little nervous? Nervous about me being here?
No.
I wasn't.
You're a
'cause
professional.
What is all the static? What's going on?
Oh, so I'm
You
not
can't
allowed.
touch it. Don't even look at it, really.
Not allowed
Just
to touch
talk to
anything.
it. Talk to it only. That's all you can do.
My
It's-
God. This is your first time? 6, by the way. 6 years. I did the math.
Oh, yeah?
No.
I
Is
did.
this my 6th year?
It is.
I didn't
all right,
touch it.
seriously, he didn't touch the mic that time.
Okay. We might have to do a little disconnect, reconnect in here.
Talk amongst yourselves. So we're
Yeah,
going to
want
have
me
to
to
do
do
one
it
of
real
those.
quick? Let me try real quick.
It is. Oh, God. It is, though, Hardy's 6th year as the host.
Wow. I heard you guys trying to figure it out yesterday on the radio. Nice job, by the way.
As
Really
I was
enjoyed
doing
the
my
the
power
program.
rankings.
Was excellent. Yeah, that was.
Without trying to
Rich
offend
Keefe,
anybody.
huh? Rich Keefe.
Rich Keefe was
surprising.
He was good. Rich Keefe is good. And evidently Hardy's just got electrocuted.
Yeah, that sounded like almost famous.
Oh,
when
Hardy. Won't be seeing him no more.
They were doing Fever Dog. And
I think this one's dead.
Yeah, because now I don't hear you in my headphones anymore.
I got nothing. It's on.
All right. So anyway,
so Deuce,
Lions,
Paul,
huh?
Tamara.
So, did you try any good cheese in Green Bay, Mike?
I almost said a turd, a curd. Sorry. I had one curd. But yeah, no, I tried to go easy on that stuff. Usually when
Okay.
we're on the road, trying not to go too crazy with the Wisconsin food. But no, it was nice. Otherwise it was mostly there for football. So watched 2 days of joints, and it was intense.
Did you just
We
say
have
you were
plenty of-
mostly there for football?
Mostly.
I mean, we have plenty of time to talk football. Did Evan find any vegan cheese?
No, he didn't. It was tough sledding for our friend Evan
Wow.
on the dairy tip, trying to get around that. But we did see this woman walked into our hotel with a sash on, and she was Miss Dairyland.
Oh.
And so it required a quick Google, and so she's a employee of Wisconsin government that goes around to the different towns and talks about dairy. So I was trying to get her to talk to Evan about what he can do there as a non-dairy eating person, but
That's very interesting.
yeah, she didn't take it.
I did enjoy our cheese video today on social.
Yeah,
That was very entertaining.
different kinds of favorite cheese, and oh my God, Hardy's moving over to this side.
The dark side. The dark side. Yeah, I enjoyed the video a lot. Honestly, I don't think I could name as many as Juju,
He's just rifling them off.
but I think that I could probably do maybe 2. American and cheddar.
Hey, any cheese. I'm not kicking any cheese out of bed.
Swiss?
Swiss?
Eh.
Gouda?
Cream?
Wait, I don't think, did
Brie?
anyone say provolone?
I think Ezekiel
Provolone?
Elliott said, did he say smoked Gouda? I think he said
Yeah.
smoked Gouda.
Yeah. Isn't that a thing? Is that not a thing?
I mean, it is a thing.
And
It's just
Dietrich did say
kind of a
vegan
cheese deep dive.
Vegan cheese.
This feels like the scene from Mr. Mom when he's trying to order cheese at the deli. American, Swiss, cream, Westphalia. You got the entire cheddar family. I'm back, by the
This
way.
is so weird. I'm not
You're
going to be able to
back.
get used to this.
Oh, no. I am going to be side-eyeing you the entire show.
So, Mike.
Great job filling, though, guys.
No, we did a little cheese talk to Phil. But, Mike, as our resident boots on the ground in Green Bay.
That's me. Yeah.
I'm just curious of your thoughts, because all the other people who are actually in Green Bay still seem to think the starters could play, not play the whole game, play a snap. Like, no one seems to be in total agreement. I was kind of anticipating seeing starters at least for a cameo tonight, maybe a series or two.
I think so.
And I just was curious as to how you felt about
I'm with you, yeah. I look back last year, I think Mac played a couple series, 1 or 2, and I think that's probably what will happen today. But what was just overwhelming to me were the number of snaps that they played in practice. So it's like so many guys got so much experience this week. So I'm not sure how he's like. I'm sure maybe Mac will play, but I don't know like Parker, Smith-Schuster, like the whole group will be out there. But we'll see. I'm optimistic though that we'll get to see some of those starters. I don't know about the defensive guys. Probably not Keon White. He got a little banged up towards the end. The weird thing is that you three are all right here. I feel like I'm on stage talking to the
You're
three
in the
of
hot
you.
seat. No, but that's actually a really great question, Paul, because I was wondering, especially because we don't know whether that practice was 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
You're trying to you gotta get a
45,
clock on it.
You know,
It was long.
since it was long, and
yeah.
Bill said that it's according to how much they practice, whether they play in the game. I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, well, the second day was a little bit shorter, and it was just epic how much they played. But I just off the top to say, I like Evan. We kind of divided up, and Evan was watching most of the offense. I did watch the full team reps when they came together at the end, and they were just kind of doing one offense and defense at a time, as opposed to early in practice when they had both ends going. But and I saw some like kind of mixed reviews of Mac from the first day, and I actually was not totally blown away because there wasn't a lot of the downfield stuff like we've been looking for. But I thought he looked pretty good the first day to me. Like, and I feel like I'm a pretty hard.
Yeah, you're on an island.
Just getting the ball out quick. Getting the ball out quick. Looked like he was ready. Well, it wasn't all great, but I just like, hey, some of this stuff looks like he's understanding where to go with the ball. And then the second day, he was great.
It's like, yeah, Deuce, I wasn't there. I didn't see a single snap, but I think you're wrong.
No.
No, that's what I mean.
Because
seriously,
according to Tommy Curran,
everybody else.
Oh, okay.
said
I thought
it's
you were
like,
making fun of me because I'm with you. I
No.
read everybody else, and they all said sack, 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 check down, little swing pass, sack,
But this
sack,
is-
check down. Like,
This is my issue.
that's the offense all summer, except for Thursday.
Yeah.
But this is my whole issue with training camp and joint practices and to an extent preseason games. What can you really tell? Now, I think you can tell more in joints, and I do believe you can tell a little bit more even in one of these preseason games where they may not care all that much if they win or lose. At least there's actual hitting, there's actual sacking of the quarterback, and there's stuff like that. But I'm just as inclined to believe Deuce with what he saw with his own eyes, because if you were just looking at certain things that people were saying in the first week of camp, and you're looking at the completion numbers between Zappe and Mac, you would say, oh, they're pretty close.
Which
and
is
they
why
weren't.
I made such a big deal last week after the Houston game of Zappe's completion percentage, because I think both of those guys have completed over 70% of their passes, I would guess. I don't do stat. You guys know I don't keep track of stats. But there haven't been a ton of incomplete passes in camp.
No.
But there have been even fewer tough throws that were completed.
Right.
Like, everything has been Stevenson, Hunter Henry, Demario Douglas, little shallow cross, like nothing pushing the ball downfield. Now, from what I read on Thursday, that was the difference.
Yeah.
There was, I think Tyquan, the play that he got hurt on, Tyquan Thornton, was a
it.
diving catch on a big play. I think Parker had a big play.
Wasn't even contested too. Like that Parker one,
know?
like we know the Parker catches. He goes up,
Right.
but this was he had to step on a guy and Mac put it right
First
on him.
time in my knowledge, again, I didn't see these two practices. I saw all the other ones. First time that I saw the ball going downfield and getting completed on any kind of a consistent level.
No, if
Thursday.
you were just looking at the numbers, you would say, wow, these guys are going to be completion machines. It doesn't matter
and they
who
will
plays. It'll be yeah, and you're right. They
'Cause
probably
that's the way
will
Bill
be.
O'Brien's off it. They're going to throw the ball horizontally a lot.
Okay, and if you can do it for 3 yards at a time, people say, well, that's great. That's all you need. Actually, that puts you in a lot of 3rd and 1 situations or 4th and 1 situations, and I'm not sure that you can live like that. But okay, whatever. The numbers by themselves don't tell the story. So, Deuce, if you say Mac actually looked okay the first day, I'm with you.
Well,
I believe you. I support
Well,
you.
I appreciate your support. I mean, I did qualify it with that. I didn't watch the early portion of practice, so they could have looked terrible in that portion.
No, I think the early portion is the part that people said was okay. Then it went.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a lot of what you said, though, Paul. It's the same kind of stuff. I mean, that was the game plan. I mean, it's a lot to Stevenson. I mean, I don't know if people play fantasy out there, but, I mean, he's just catching a ton of balls. He's running. I mean, maybe Elliott will change that a little bit, but, the next day he was great. I didn't even see the beginning parts, but I'm not inclined to be overly like, oh my gosh, Mac blew me away, but he did. I was impressed with him. Just with some of those early stuff.
My
and
big
then later.
takeaway on that is that's the first time I've seen a huge difference. Last year, like they got off to a bad start in camp, and you never saw really anything different. This year, at least, I've seen some kind of progress, and I think significant progress based on what I've read on Thursday.
Okay.
That we didn't see that last year.
No, we didn't. And it was like sad. I think that one really good practice Mac had here that everyone was like, that's the best practice we've seen since we saw him, when Cam was here, which is crazy. That was like, almost 2 years ago now.
It was. I mean, it was a rookie year, rookie training camp, and I think the bar is like much lower.
It is.
And
Well,
maybe
the celebration over a practice just in and of itself is an indication of how much lower the bar has gone.
That's something I'm going to have to just, I think, reconcile myself with.
Me too.
When it comes to not just the expectations with Mac, but Mac himself. The celebrating of the touchdowns, even in training camp, the walking backwards from the line of scrimmage, signaling touchdown on a handoff, 3 yards out with no hitting. What are we doing?
Yeah, there hasn't been a practice celebrate. There hasn't been a practice touchdown he hasn't celebrated. I mean, he loves it. He loves it.
What are we doing?
You gotta
give the hands. That's what
I love when Paul does the palms up.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
I don't know. I apologize for coming in here a little bit hot. I thought I had plenty of time, and I messed things up timing-wise. Here's what's happening tonight on the big program, okay, just so everybody knows what's happening. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock tonight, not 8:15. That's next week.
Right.
Correct?
Who thought 8:15?
That's number one.
I thought it was 8, right?
It's 8. It's definitely 8 o'clock.
Someone sent 8:15.
I don't know why I went over this with him yesterday, but okay. Go ahead.
There was a lot going on
There was
yesterday.
a lot
You guys
going
talked
on.
for 4 hours, and
We had Patriots
timing didn't
pregame host power rankings.
We
yesterday.
did.
Hardy fared quite well.
He was too chicken to actually say them on the air, especially with one of the contestants standing in the hallway who something tells me would not rank highly.
No, that's not true. I told you he loses points because he wouldn't watch the games with us.
Okay, if there were five of them, where does he rank?
5.
If there were 5, didn't we say there were 5 of us? Me, Beetle, Jones, Keith, and Big Jim Murray.
Yeah, he would probably 4.
Okay, so that's not too high.
How does one do a post-game show if he hasn't watched the game?
No, he watched the game, just not with us.
Why?
I don't know. That's why he loses points.
I'll tell you why. 2 words. Andy. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
It was fun having Andy come in here for a second. Andy texted me afterward apologizing. I'm like, sorry I blew up the post-game show, but that was fun.
I'd
said,
welcome that anytime.
Oh, yeah.
and I said, so much fun, and then the show was all downhill after that.
That was
And
like happy hour.
I'm pretty sure he thought I was being sarcastic because he never texted me back after that. But
well, he was probably
He was knee-deep in C4 by that point.
Yeah.
In just a couple of minutes, we're going to go behind enemy lines with Pete Doherty. He's from the Green Bay Press-Gazette. Have we spoken with Pete before? Sounds familiar.
Maybe last
Pete's
year?
been around a little bit, yeah.
All right.
I think we have. I think
Yeah.
we have spoken
Yeah.
to Pete.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And I won't be. Not that I was late. When you
You weren't late.
when you're almost late,
close.
you know what you are? On time. So I was
Correct.
on time. Okay.
Correct.
But-
unless it was Tom Coughlin in charge.
Yeah.
He's not, so
Our
you're
time
okay.
is 10 minutes early.
All right. Whatever.
Doesn't it make it our time?
Mr. Hond. So we got that. We're going to do over-unders again a little bit later, and of course your calls, which I cannot reach now. Now that I realize we have technical difficulties over in that position, so
Right.
we'll figure out a way. Do you want to grab Pat and Agwan before we go to Pete? You want to grab cousin
Also,
Patty?
was I not listening, or are we not doing keys today?
Oh yeah, keys to the game. We got to do those. Yeah, you know what? We'll do them after we go behind enemy lines, and after we talk
It's a
to
preseason
Hurry up,
game.
Patty
Don't
and
get hurt.
Agwan. Well, you guys had to talk about cheese curds.
Yeah, well, the
so we
Patriots
did
are
that
waiting for
instead.
Your
Yeah.
mic wasn't working.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here, just like there was with me and Paul yesterday. There's a lot going on with Patty and Agawam, right, Pat?
There is. What's
Yeah.
going on, everyone?
Well, you tell us what's going on.
What's up, Patty?
I'll tell you what, I'm feeling a little bit optimistic about the offense. I'd like to see, hopefully Mac plays a little bit tonight, even if it's just for a series or two. But, we saw it prior. I know I'm going back here, but, back when we got Ocho Cinco and it looked like crap in training camp and just, even a couple of years ago and last year when it just didn't look great, where the offense, they would have a bad day and then they would come back and they would have a worse day. So I'm starting to feel optimistic. And my twin girls had a question for you, Hardy.
Oh, good.
Why you always lying?
What? Oh my goodness! Why are you teaching them that? It's terrible.
Okay. That's it.
Thanks,
So,
Pat. We gotta jump. We gotta jump anyway.
I don't think people take us very seriously.
I don't. And Pat, please don't ever break that cardinal rule again. No kids on the radio.
Correct.
Yeah, so let's not do that anymore. And why are you looking at me like that, Tamara? Because you love children so much? Be honest. You want to talk to a bunch of kids?
I love children, but I don't. I'm working.
I love my children.
Right.
The end.
I like children in general.
Nah, not me.
Because I'm kind of a child.
Babies
Let's
are.
call it like it is.
You know what? First question for Pete Doherty. I've already got it lined up. Let's bring up. Let's go behind enemy lines.
You know the view from New England,
We go behind enemy lines.
but what about the view from the other side?
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Oh, yeah.
I was on with you guys in 2018 Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And I was told I was the favorite guest of the show.
Nope.
No.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us.
Joining us again from Green Bay, where the Patriots and Packers are going to play tonight, it's Pete Doherty from the Green Bay Press-Gazette. Pete, you're on with Hardy, Mike Dussault, Tamara, Paul. Great to have you with us again, Pete. How are you?
Well, that's a lot of you.
That's all. We have you on the phone. Everybody wants to ask you something. I have the first most important question: this or that, puppies or babies? You got to choose one. Puppies.
Puppies.
Yep. See, that Pete knows. I mean, kids. Ugh, who needs them? But puppies? Bring me all the puppies. I'll take all the puppies. Babies, not so much. All right. How are things going with the joint practices this week, Pete? Looked like you're all right, Tamara. Is things a little tense there between the two teams?
Yeah, the second day. The first day was there were no. It was really uneventful, no fights or anything. And the second day, I was down watching the Packers defense and the Patriots offense, sounds like there were 4 fights in about 10 or 15 minutes at the other end. And then in a special team period, there were a couple more, and they had to cut the special team period short because a fight kept breaking out every other rep. So yeah, things got heated. It's that second day. I was asking players, do they need to cut these down to just one day? And I don't know if I asked 4 guys that, they all said no, but I'm wondering if back-to-back days is too much and the tempers, they just can't hold them,
Hey, Pete, I was out there. I was actually down that other end with the defense and the Packers offense. I just got to ask you about Christian Watson because I came away so impressed with him. Just what kind of development have you seen from him here in his second season? Because he was dominating at times over those 2 days.
Yeah, I've seen the same thing in camp. He came back and he just looked, especially his legs looked a little thicker. He looked a little stronger. But what jumped out to me was he looked so much more confident catching the ball, running routes too, but just catching the ball than he did, last year at this time. We didn't get much of a feel last year for, early how good he was going to be because he missed most of camp with a hamstring and he was hurt most of the first half of the season. And when he started playing, he played the final 8 games. I think they went 5-3 in those. They were so much better than they'd been when he didn't play. He's a real big play threat. I think they ended up. I find it hard to believe this guy won't be a really good pick unless the health issues that plagued him last year. If he keeps getting hurt, then that could be the thing that derails him. But there's a ton of talent there. I mean, he's tall and fast, and he's a really smart guy, and I think he wants to be good at his craft. So I would think his future's looking really bright.
I have a question about Jordan Love. I saw him a lot when I was working in the Mountain West, and he was at Utah State, and now he has his chance to, be the starting quarterback for the Packers. What were your thoughts on him against this veteran defense with the Patriots?
So what did you think of him in college? What did you see?
A lot of turnovers, but
Yeah.
I saw potential, and I think a lot of people have potential, but some don't turn it into production. So I'm kind of just looking to see, will he take this opportunity that he has and run with it, or, will he kind of, I don't want to say falter, and, someone else will have to come in and get drafted next year to take his spot. But I'm kind of interested to see, because these are pretty big shoes to fill with Aaron Rodgers gone.
Yeah, that's what this season's all about for these guys. I wondered too if he was going to be a turnover, machine. The little bit that he played, his first couple of years, he had some interception issues. Then when he played last year, he didn't. But in camp, he's been pretty decent. It's been, he's never had just an incredible day, but he had some really solid days, and he had a couple not as solid but not terrible days. I'm thinking the second practice against the Patriots was actually probably one of his worst at camp, because he hadn't been throwing many interceptions. I think he'd thrown 3 all camp coming into this week, and then on Thursday, he threw I think it was 2. And when I was down there watching, he had at least 1 and probably 2 others that could have pretty easily been intercepted. So that was decision making was probably the shakiest day he's had all camp. Now they dropped a couple touchdown passes in 2 minutes too, and he does have his moments where he has so he always has a couple pretty good throws every practice. Who knows when they're playing real games and game planning and all that. Kind of, if I had to, make a guess, I'm thinking he might be. I think he's got a pretty good chance to be good enough to, to be a guy who's their quarterback a couple of years from now. And I can't remember thinking anything more of Rodgers at this point of his career than, when Rodgers took over in 2008. At this point in training camp, I don't think anybody saw Hall of Fame coming there. But I would say if I'm the Packers, I'm feeling, pretty decent about him right now. But the hard part is still to come, the real games.
So what do you expect to see tonight, Pete, out of Jordan Love and the starters? Do you expect to see them play much, or, what's the plan?
It sounds like they're probably going to play, and if they do, I'm thinking 2 or 3 series. I don't think they want to play all those guys too much, because they're, as much as they'd like to give Love the work, they don't want to expose, if they're going to have him out there, all the starters are out there, and they don't want to expose those guys to injuries. So, they played two series against Cincinnati. So I'm thinking, I don't know, 2 or 3, depending on how things go. Tonight would be my best guess. I'm hoping, I don't know what Belichick's history is. I'm hoping he plays a lot of his starters on defense. Last week, Cincinnati only played 1. So I'm hoping that we see, half or more of New England starters just to see what this guy looks like. But I don't know if Belichick ever does that or not.
Pete Doherty with the Green Bay Press-Gazette. I'm curious as to what the attitude is like, if you've got like a general pulse from Packers fans about this new era, because I can tell you here, after Brady left, there was a fair amount of, well, it sucks that Brady's gone, but at least this is going to be different. There'll be something compelling in the newness of it. And
that's you, Deuce. He's talking about you.
No, there was a fair number of people, and also there were a fair number of people still rooting for Tom Brady with the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
So 2-part question. Is there a general pulse in terms of the attitude that fans have toward this new era Packers team, and any kind of a general feeling as to how they feel about Aaron Rodgers with the Jets?
Yeah, very much the former with your first question. I mean, when I was talking, I'd run into people, just before they traded Rodgers, I'd run into, acquaintances and friends, the grocery store, being out, wherever. And we'd, chat for a minute or two, and then I'd say, so trade him or keep him. And, you could see the wheels spin, and, of course, they knew what I was talking about.
Right.
And I would say 90% of the people I talked to wanted to trade him. I think the thing had just worn out. He's not an everyman like Favre was, so he was hard for fans to identify with, and all the drama. I think Packers fans were just tired of it. So there's very much that. I think Love is getting the benefit of the doubt, and there's very much that sense of a fresh start and newness and everything, and things being more interesting in that way.
Okay.
My guess is, people will want Rodgers to do poorly. Well, Packers fans, generally speaking, I haven't asked them this, but I'm guessing the majority will probably be fine if he doesn't do very well.
Okay.
And part of that's probably their pick escalates to a 1 if he plays a lot, and
Right.
that would be high in the first round. It'd be higher in the first round the more games. So,
Okay.
Pete, totally kind of saw the same things from Jordan Love that you mentioned earlier. I'm just curious, watching 2 days of practice, did anything kind of stand out to you, any players on the Patriots side of the ball, just getting your first look at them on the practice fields?
Well, Jabril Peppers stood out because he seems to enjoy. He and Jair Alexander were getting into it pretty good, just jawing at each other. Peppers seems like he's a fun guy to be around.
Not for some of us.
The first day, I thought Jones looked really pedestrian the first day, but I thought he was pretty solid from what I saw on the second day. So if I were the Patriots, I'd probably be encouraged by that. The Patriots offense didn't look very good the little bit that I saw on the first day. But the second day, I thought they were pretty solid. They had a really good red zone period. I think if there were 10 plays, they probably scored touchdowns on 6 or 7 of them. So just Jones looking better in that second day has probably jumped out to me as much as anything.
Well, I don't know what you were watching, Pete, because Deuce was there. He said the offense looked great the first day. Now he's the only one.
He's the only one who thought that.
How did it become I said he looked great?
The only football guy at the camp that said the Patriots offense and Mac Jones specifically looked okay the first day.
When
but
you've been watching him the whole time.
Wait, Pete, I have one more question. How long was the first day of joint practices?
It was 2 hours and 27 minutes, which is way longer than LaFleur usually goes. So I think we know who was kind of running that day.
Yeah, that's funny because we had a joint practice in Philly a couple of years ago, and Nick Sirianni clearly believes in shorter practices, and they were closer to.
It's over?
It was closer to an hour and a half.
Yeah,
remember?
Yeah.
So certainly Sirianni had a big say in that. But yeah, 2 hours and 27 minutes. That was Mike Reese's number. So Pete's co-signing on the 2 hours 27 minutes.
Hey, Pete, great to talk to you again. Thanks so much for taking the time. Enjoy the game tonight. We appreciate all your insight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
There you go.
Thanks, Pete.
Pete Doherty there, Green Bay Press
Yeah,
Gazette.
I thought it's interesting getting that other perspective of the same stuff. People watching the same stuff, but from a different, perspective. Because you're watching it from the Green Bay side.
Yeah.
In the Jordan Love stuff, I find interesting.
It's exactly that's exactly how I felt about him. And there were a few plays that I was like right on, nice, and he's right. I mean, the 2 interceptions though, I didn't totally put those on Love. I mean, there were. Later on, Jack Jones was like right there, almost picked off. He had a real good day the second day, Jack Jones, but everything he said about Jordan Love,
I think
kind of
that
what
might
I
be
saw
something, not to like belabor. I think we're having fun with you about
the
first day.
I know.
But that's what I read: sacks, checkdowns, dropped picks by Rasul Douglas. Like supposedly he had like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things that you don't when it's dropped and it doesn't hurt you, like you don't remember it. It sort of goes away.
And then there was one, too, like right at the end, I think it was the last play of the final 2-minute drive that was up the seam to Luke Musgrave, the rookie, who looked real good. The ball was so wet. I mean, it just went right through his hands. So there were a couple of those plays.
Yeah.
Situational. You're like, all right, should he have caught it? Probably. Wet ball, though. But Love was sporadic, I thought. And
that's what it sounds like.
The picks were, Duggar ripped just took the ball from the guy in the end zone, and then Marcus Jones was deflected on the sideline. So, not terrible throws, but what he said, I agree with. That's what I saw too.
I also liked how he pointed out that Rodgers at this point, he was like, we had no idea what he was going to be. So I'm like, I like that optimism that he has, because I don't know, did everyone have the same optimism with Mac Jones as okay, was Brady like this, his rookie season? So
Brady was as soon as he played. But that's different. That's the greatest player who's ever played.
Yeah, and Tamara, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to confuse optimism with open-mindedness. I think he's just being open-minded. We don't know what he's going to be.
Don't.
Yeah. And you could tell what he thinks. He hasn't been overly impressed. Yeah. He might be able to be the quarterback in 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's which is another reason what the whole bar being lowered. They didn't play the world champion Green Bay Packers over the last week in joint practices. They played a team that's kind of like them.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think the thing with Love, too, is that he just looks the part. Like,
he
just looks an
does.
athlete. He's a big, sturdy guy. He can run a little bit. But, yeah, I think it's just, like you said, it's going to come down to decision-making.
Yes.
And that's
he has
what he has
all
to do.
the tools. Like, he has the arm. He has the look. He's athletic. Just putting it all together.
Yeah. That's why we liked him. We didn't love him. We liked
I
him.
did not like him.
You didn't even like him.
I did not like him.
You sound like one of the old school scouts in Moneyball.
Me?
He's like, he's got the face,
Ugly girlfriend.
beautiful swing,
Ugly girlfriend.
Yeah, like, so what? Can he play? We don't know. And I mean,
But I mean, that's honestly how I felt when Daniel Jones was drafted. I'm like, did y'all only draft him because he looked like Eli? Like, I'm so confused because I don't think.
Like just walking down the street looks like Eli?
Yes. Because I'm like, playing wise, it's not there.
Yeah.
He's getting better with coaching, but
Yeah.
like, he's still not where I think where he got picked. I don't think he was good enough to be picked there.
right.
I agree with that. I thought that was a reach to go. I think he was like 6th overall.
Daniel Jones. Yeah, that was
I
everyone
thought that
like,
was.
what?
But, you know, I can understand what they saw. I just not 6th overall.
Yeah,
like
no.
to me, that's someone who doesn't have a lot of questions from a physical standpoint. Yes, Hardy.
Again, I take full responsibility for this, for coming in on time. Really, really on
I
time.
don't know why you're belaboring the fact that you were on time. I mean, so
Because
was I.
I was a little
So was Tamara, and so was Mike.
I was
We were
li-
all on time.
Right.
You've been here for hours. I know
I
you.
have not.
He had to do
You
his
were
crossword.
you were texting us about the food available here like
At
an
about
hour ago.
4:35.
Yeah.
So I haven't been here for hours. I was here less than an hour before the start of the show.
My only point is this.
I have a long ride.
The keys to the game, something we'd normally do at the very top. We didn't do it. And I think, Matt Morrell, if it's all right with you, if it's all right with everybody, we'll do them now.
The Patriots need it.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to. You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why did I steal your key to the game also? Keys to the game are brought to you by Deuce, Tamara, Paul, and me, Hardy. We all have keys. And now, please, give us your key, Mike Dussault.
No,
your key
no.
to the game.
My joke backfired on me. I was trying to be silly on the text.
They just set that in stone as your key.
The Matt just was like, no joking on the text. And so I thought, whack the pack, because you're always coming up with something, to
Silly.
rhyme. Silly. I was like, oh, Hardy will do this. It's text. And then lo and behold, I come to find out that this is my key.
Well, that is...
This is not my key.
Another one.
That
So
is-
I just
Patriots,
assumed.
ignore this. This is not my key. We don't want to whack the pack. No.
Okay, well, when I do make a joke, and I did in mine, it actually has like some I can BS my way into having it be an actual football
yes, you
key.
can.
Is whack the pack?
No, I can't.
There's
I can't
nothing
fool
behind
I can't
it.
fool because it's not a real game. Why did I say whack the pack? Who cares? It's a preseason game. I don't give a.
You know the problem is,
What?
Deuce? You got to be smart to be a smart ass.
I guess
Okay?
I'm not smart. I'm a dumbass, is what I am. But I'm gonna go with what my real key was just find some gems again. I just like to see some more young guys pop a little bit. Some new guys just get an opportunity. I think maybe Marte Mapu. He came out of his red jersey in Green Bay, and
I'm writing all the stuff down because last week Deuce nailed it.
had a hard hit. So I'd like to just see him, maybe Isaiah Bolden, him popping a little bit. He had the kickoff return, but would just love to see a new face like Keon White did last week that just kind of surprises you and comes out. I think that's really the best thing, and I think the other little piece of this is just if the starters do play, nobody get hurt. Like that's the big one right now. You just don't want any injuries, but love to find a gem and then they can whack the pack.
Okay. All right. Not bad. Not bad. I think he did it, Paul.
Checks notes.
Looks disgusted.
Find some rhythm, because I think that the
Get
starters
rhythm.
have to. I
When
think the
you
starters
get
are going to be out there
rhythm.
for a
When
little bit,
Time to change.
which I could go either way on because when Bill Belichick talks about all the players that get all the snaps in practice won't play as much. Well, I think they got all the snaps in practice, and I think they're going to play tonight a little bit. So I think when they're out there, I think it would really be nice to build off of Thursday's performance and have some success offensive. I'm with Mike. I don't care about the game. I don't care who wins. I don't care if they score. But can you move the ball and look like a competent offense?
I love it, Paul. And I had the same
Find
thought
some rhythm.
watching a little bit of the early Dolphins game, which it all worked out okay. But the first pass of the game, Tua threw an interception, and
Right.
I'm just imagining hey, we all kind of have a little bit of optimism right now around the offense and Mac a little bit. You know, it's with one practice, you don't want to overstate it, but you know, if they were to go out there and not be able to, it'd just be really disappointing. Love to see them build on it and find
not
that
even a turnover, but like it would be so disheartening to like first down, they throw the ball, he's under pressure, he has to throw it away. Second down, they run for nothing. Third down, he's under pressure, he has to throw it away. Punt. Like that would be so disheartening.
Yep. Totally with you.
I agree.
No. Or he's forcing it to someone who's not really open and it falls incomplete.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I think the pressure thing is real though, and that's a problem that even though I think they got around it in the red zone drills, but it's still an issue for them.
Remind me after we're done with keys. I want to get back to the red zone on Thursday.
Okay.
Don't forget, because you know me.
Remind me.
Because you know I will forget.
I got you.
Write it down, Deuce. Tamara, your key?
My key is keep that same energy. And by that, I mean the energy they had on Thursday, whether it's Jabril Peppers on the sideline chirping away, whether it's, the red zone efficiency and Mac Jones celebrating after every touchdown. Whatever that energy, that juice was, I need them to have that today. In terms of kind of what Paul was saying, like be competent on offense. I need you to have juice, have energy, and actually come out there and, maybe like Deuce said, whack the pack. Don't do that actually. But just come out there and be productive. Don't be lazy. Don't be turning the ball over. Like I actually want to see like the guys continue to build on something and not revert backwards, Yep. Like we're seeing like spurts of it.
Sure.
But I would rather see like continuous production.
And I like that.
And if I could just piggyback on this a little bit, because I think that there's an element of a new offense with Bill O'Brien, and I think last year you were like, well, let's give it time, and I think there's an element of that this year too. So if they were able to keep that momentum, it would maybe feel like, all right, they're starting to understand the offense. Maybe that's part of why they're starting to get some momentum now. So I'm totally on board. I'd love to just see solid couple drives. They move the ball, maybe they score a touchdown, and we kind of keep the good mojo going right into next week.
Well, it sounds like you're talking about a little bit of aggression, a little bit of energy. Would you then co-sign on my key for Bill Belichick and the coaching staff and whatever game plan exists for a preseason game to just let Mac attack the pack? Just let him loose out there. Air it out, kid.
I love it.
Why don't you go out there and play some football? Just go out there and let's air it out a little bit
Throw
tonight.
that pigskin around.
Yeah.
Go out there and sling it, right?
Check down Charlie. We've seen that all through camp. Let's go. Let's get after it. Now, I've kind of been waffling a little bit on this week. A little bit on like starters playing. Does it matter? Does it this, that? Yeah, offensive line. Do you want Mac to get injured? I want to see something that I think has some bearing on the regular season. And I want to see it tonight.
Yeah.
You don't mess around in the last one before the – now, again, who knows?
Yeah, they'll play a little next week too. But
they'll play a little next week.
I like your theory.
But let's see something on the field tonight. If these preseason games are a thing that are necessary, prove it to me. Prove it to me tonight by allowing these starters to play more than a series or even two and leave them out there and do some stuff that we might actually see some likeness to when they start playing games that count in the regular season. And what I think they're going to have to do is let this offense go a little tiny bit. Now, they're probably not ready. They're probably not feeling it. They probably don't have the confidence. But if there's ever a time to find out, it's in a preseason game against another crappy team, or against a crappy team, where it doesn't matter if you win. Yeah. So go do it tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, best guess we could see for an offensive line. Could we get Trent Brown? He took a lot of snaps, full reps, right?
I mean, so Connor McDermott got hurt.
No,
he wasn't even in. So, I mean, they don't have much.
Can we possibly get Trent Brown, Tony O'Mafe, David Andrews, Riley Reif at right guard, which is where he spent the week.
And City.
Right?
City
and
So.
then City So.
Yeah.
That's like, I understand Cole Strange and Michael Onyu are not there. They're not going to play. We know that. But I don't think that that's a line that you should have to say, I can't put my starting quarterback out there and throw passes behind. That could be your line in week one.
Yeah, I mean, two rookies is definitely scary. I would say, too, Onyu was there in
I
Green
thought
Bay
that was a great sign.
And was walking a little, like doing, the little high leg kicks. And, I mean, so he's doing a tiny bit.
I think he's going to be activated in week one.
Yeah.
I do. Do I have anything to base that on? Absolutely not. Nothing. But I just feel like there was a plan in place. Like he had surgery and they knew this was going to be – this is nothing surprising. Whereas Cole Strange got hurt during camp. I don't know about him. I see him every day, so that makes me encouraged that he's close at least. But I don't know about him because he suffered an injury during camp.
I think it's going to come down to maybe City Sow and how City Sow. Geez, I got to get it right. Because I mean, early in camp he was kind of the third guy down on the right tackle. He had a tough time in one-on-ones.
He struggled a little bit.
And now it's like he's emerged and he's risen up the depth chart. But is it because he's been playing great, or is it because they're kind of like scrambling and trying to audition people?
Okay, so I wanted to get to the red zone on Thursday.
I was going to remind you about that.
Was
I apologize.
terrific. It was terrific, right? The Mac Jones threw a number of they had a number of scoring plays in the red zone.
Yep.
In their series. I wanted to ask you about Bailey Zappi because I heard a lot of recaps of Thursday's practice. I read a lot of recaps of Thursday's practice. I did not see a lot of mentions of Bailey Zappi going 6 for 6 in the red zone with 6 touchdowns. I know that you're not necessarily in offense. Why do you think that was so downplayed? I've heard a lot of people tell me how bad Bailey Zappi has been in this camp, and I don't understand it.
I couldn't speak to it, Paul. I mean, honestly, I didn't. I mean, it's funny you bring it up, and I'm like, geez, that's a good point. Why isn't that being taught? I don't know. Like, no one was talking about it. I mean, I think it was because everyone was so, enamored with how Mac and the ones did. I thought overall from the bits and pieces that I did see of Zappi, it was, more of the same of kind of what we've had all summer, up and down, and throw here.
Oh,
not,
he hasn't
so
been.
much
I don't want to
up,
suggest that he's been great in camp.
Yeah.
But this is what
I don't think it's been that much different than Mac.
Yeah.
If he was 6 for 6 and had all this work, what were the plays like? Was he actually hitting guys that cross the body throws to back corners of the end zone, or are he throwing screens where guys are sneaking around the end and getting in the end zone?
I have no idea, but I mean, 6 red zone snaps, 6 touchdowns with Bailey Zappi. I just was curious as to why I'm not reading about it, and maybe I'll get to that off air.
Okay. Well, now would be actually a better time to do it because we still have another hour and 20 minutes to kill.
I also would love to know.
Yeah, but I don't want to be accused of ripping people like I often am.
But this, and I'm sorry, Tamara, just
No,
real
good.
quickly, and we're going to talk a lot about Ezekiel Elliott here at some point too. But this is where it's instructive and helpful to actually get into the numbers a little bit. Like, what did he have last year in Dallas? 12 touchdowns. Was that the number that was being thrown about?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
12
rushing touchdowns. Yeah.
7 of them were from inside the
one.
2 or the 1.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
No,
Well,
and there's value in that. I'm not dismissing it, but it does lend context.
I'm dismissing
You're
it.
absolutely right. It lends context.
I'm dismissing it. I mean, do you know how many running backs you can find that can punch it in from the 1 yard line?
Now, Patriots fans will argue they didn't have one last year, which I would argue against that because I think Stevenson is fully capable.
Well, yeah, and listen, the more details that
Problem
came
is
out,
they can't get to the 1.
Well,
that's the problem.
Yeah, the details that came out about Zeke's contract the second time around, I feel better about it now. But I'm also, not quite believing in the fact that he's going to be any kind
came
of
prepared for that.
Oh, you got all the numbers, Paul. I heard you guys really getting into that yesterday, and how much Paul loves this contract.
I want to let Tamara make her point though when we were still talking about Zappi.
I was just preparing for the last hour and 20 minutes. Had a fill.
Yeah, well, you do. So.
I was gonna ask Mike. Well, again, probably a question for Evan maybe, but did they do a lot of like mixing up? Because how before they were like kind of giving Bailey kind of like the perceived ones.
No,
and
it was
Mac
it was
twos, like,
it was
they
pretty
just,
defined.
Oh, okay,
it was
cool.
pretty defined from everything I saw. It was 1, 2, 3, and I guess Cunningham took a couple snaps the first day. I didn't hear anybody talk about Cunningham the second day.
All runs.
Which
he had 4 snaps.
Yeah.
They were 2 quarterback draws and 2 handoffs.
Which I think is probably a fun thing to get to too, because I've got a little bit of a hot take as
Ooh,
well.
what's your hot take?
Well, my hot take is that Malik Cunningham is not going to play a part in the Patriots offense this year. He's being used to prepare the Patriots defense and to give the rest of the NFL something to think about. And once the regular season starts, Malik Cunningham will be on the practice squad where he will prepare the team each week. They have to face a mobile quarterback. I'm trying to think.
They can't get him through waivers.
Well, think about, logically, when you're setting up a practice and you have your first team defense and your first team offense out there and you say, all right, the first 4 reps, we're going to bring this rookie kid out who can run and let him do 4 runs, and then the first team quarterback's going to come in. Why would you do that? Like, if you're really going to make a package for a guy, fine. Let him go in the second or third reps. Great. Let him do a few different things. Let him start to get comfortable. But to me, from what I've seen, and I know that he did take a couple against the Packers, so maybe they are working on something. But I just see it as our defense has stunk against mobile quarterbacks, and every day at the top of mind, we want to remind them that in week 1 they're going to see Jalen Hurts back there, and he's going to be running all over the place. So get it in your head. This is what we're going to be dealing with. And that, to me, if someone wants to say it logically, like, well, why would they put him out there? Oh, they want to needle Mac a little bit. All right, maybe. But, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I'm 1,000% with Mike, and he and I talked about this a little bit before you left. I also think it's you put it out there first, so we all talk about it as much as we did. Oh, he took, quote, significant reps, at quarterback. So now Philadelphia is saying, oh, they're going to have a package for Malik Cunningham. We got to be ready for that.
We're going to spend
6
extra minutes.
We got to waste time, preparing for it.
I think the day if it came that he showed up in a red non-contact jersey, then yes, then you'd be like, okay, they're going to use him on offense this year. But until then, no.
That too. It's another point. So I mean, look, they could possibly. I mean, maybe if things aren't going great, and Mac is struggling, and they need a spark, and maybe they're want to keep this in their back pocket. Sure, but I don't know. I'm just a little bit skeptical of everybody pushing the immediate button that, all right, week 1 it's going to be every other series they're going to have a couple plays for Malik Cunningham. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my opinion right now.
Well, my opinion is that if you're going to have a couple of plays for Malik Cunningham, they better be some all-world plays, because if he's only coming in for those 2 plays, it's the biggest telegraph in the world. When he trots onto the field, it's like, oh, they're going to do this.
Right.
You have to use him more than that. You have to utilize him probably in a receiver role, and you probably have to throw him out there a couple of times where he doesn't even touch the ball.
I like
so that you have to keep defenses honest and guessing. It's like, oh, Malik is out there. That doesn't necessarily mean this. And if you put him out there for a couple of plays that you designed for him, then what's the value in that if the defense knows exactly what's about to happen?
And my feeling on that has always been, if you have a really good offense, you don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
But if your offense struggles, that's why, like, Marcus Jones got opportunities last year, and because they had to do something.
Spark.
And he gave them the spark. So if that's the way Malik Cunningham gets in the game because it's just not working, then I have no problem with it.
Yeah.
You try something, you try anything to move the ball and be productive. But if Mac Jones plays like he did Thursday, I don't want to see Malik Cunningham to potentially, halt the momentum.
Right. Yeah. Cough the ball up, make some.
Not because I don't have any belief
mistake
in Malik Cunningham. I just don't think he's ready yet.
But I mean, I really like what you said, Hardy, though. I think, working him in more as a receiver. Like, all right, he's out on the field, but he's not a quarterback. He's out on the field. He's not a quarterback. Then all of a sudden he's out on the field. Oh, he is a quarterback. Like, you can't just roll him out there to take 4 quarterback snaps a game and think that the other team's going to be,
Exactly.
No. What do we do now?
And it's like you're burning 3 roster spots with quarterbacks. So, like, you need to make some use of him if you're going to keep him.
I mean, I do think the emergency quarterback thing is, like, interesting to dive into how they do that. And, I mean, that's probably more your thing.
You have to have him on the roster, just like Tamara just said. I agree with her. I think it's – if they don't think that they can get Cunningham to the practice squad and they feel like he's worth trying to develop, then you have to keep him. I get that. But I don't think that they want to. I don't think they want to have 3 quarterbacks on the active roster.
Yeah, it'd be insane. I do think it's interesting that he's getting look at Gunner and other things on special teams. I think that's interesting.
I think that's usually, to me, it's always, we like this guy. How many different ways can we find for him to contribute so we can, to give a roster spot?
That's why I think there is a chance that they're going to keep him, because they're thinking, well, if we have to keep him as and roster him,
he can do it.
What can we have him do that substantiates that, other than being the 3rd quarterback?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Because I don't think they're going to use the emergency quarterback thing. And by the way, in order to use Cunningham in that role, you'd have to have Zappe as the 3rd quarterback, the emergency quarterback, if you want to play Cunningham.
Yeah. Right.
Because otherwise, the emergency quarterback can't play unless the other 2 guys are unavailable.
Ah, that's right. All right.
So which would also be a risk, because then, if Mac Jones goes down with a separated shoulder in the middle of the first quarter, you got to play Malik Cunningham at quarterback
until he gets hurt, and then he's got to fake an injury if he's doing bad, and then get him out of there.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's take some calls here. 855-PATS-500. If you could be so kind, Matt, as to pull up Tony in Canada. Yeah, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Let's talk to Tony. Tony, what do you got for us?
Oh, hi, guys. Well, just following along with all the news in training camp, and was wondering what you guys thought about Demario Douglas. I'm hearing a lot of good things about him and Demario Douglas, and I'm just wondering, do you guys see a possibility that he might be able to get some actual play time when the regular season starts?
I do.
Yeah,
And,
I do, definitely.
I think we
Could
all
you
have
possibly-
seen those positive things that people are talking about. I think we'd all agree with.
Yep.
Is it possible that he can maybe bump out one of the other receivers and get a regular spot?
I don't think so. I mean, I unfortunately, I just think, I don't know what Thornton's status was. Didn't sound like it was major. Got hurt laying out, but he's just been kind of hovering for me. And I think that Douglas is firmly with those other top four with Juju and Parker and
I
Bourne.
think he has sort of a distinct kind of skill set that he can run a lot of shallow crosses and, maybe do some jet motion sweeps and, things like that to him and try to utilize his quickness. And I think that they'll try to get the ball in his hands like that. And I don't think they really have another guy like that. So I don't think he'll necessarily replace somebody else, but I think he's pretty close to a roster spot locked up at this point.
I would say so. I'm curious.
So did you hear good news on Thornton's injury? Because I hadn't
Tony,
heard
thank
that.
you.
No,
Appreciate the call, buddy.
just based on when he went off, it was initially it didn't. You know what I mean? Initially, it didn't seem like they were. And so we're reading into
There was
what we
no
see. You're right on
urgency?
the side. There wasn't like. Even with, I was right there for Keon White. He was sitting right next to me on top of a Gatorade jug.
He was
after
fine,
he got
right?
hurt. He seemed fine. Everybody was coming over and he was walking without a limp. So I don't know. You try
So
to read into these things.
It
but
wasn't the same as like when Gesicki left.
No,
practice,
no,
that one
but
there.
I didn't even see that one either. That was like, I know.
I gave you one job.
I know.
I asked you
I
to
know.
do blogs for me
Well,
one
Paul,
day.
Jabril Peppers was doing something, and I was watching him do it.
Sakes, come on.
But no, it's you know how these things are, though. I could say that, and we might not see Keon Week for 4 weeks. I have no idea, but at least that would look coming off the field. He wasn't, in an air cast or anything crazy like that. So, but you don't know with Thornton, and again, it's another upper body injury, right? So it's unfortunate for him. Last year was the collarbone. Now it's maybe a shoulder that he's dealing with, and it's just a guy that can't afford to lose the momentum that he should be building right now.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Okay.
When's the last time you had your eyes checked?
About 2 years, and I keep getting emails from my optometrist, and I'm like, I'm not out of
2
contacts
years?
yet. I'm not out of contacts
I don't
yet.
even
Wait a minute. How are you not running out of contacts?
I go long.
Okay, so
You do what I do.
so Paul,
feel
you
fine.
How often are you supposed to change them?
I don't know, like every month.
Yeah, I go.
I've
3,
never had
4 months.
contacts. I've never had glasses.
Yeah, I go
of
every
any
year.
kind.
I
So you
can't
go
see.
every year. Tamara?
Every year.
Okay, I have
Although
to.
I am a little bit behind right now.
I'm
Okay,
behind.
I have to go. Yeah, I went once like 10 years ago.
So you can't see
You
like
can't keep your
Jose
peepers-
from
your
Texas?
peepers
Okay,
on field?
I thought it was
It's not very
Jo-
popular for your ocular.
Josie. I could see Texas, but it looks like Marla Maples insect.
Okay,
is what
so
Josie is
we're
calling
gonna
about.
go,
It's
Matt. If you'd
Jose
be so kind
in
to
Tejas.
Jose in Texas, who would like to talk about Marte Mapu's impact,
Not Marla Maples insect.
not Marlon Maples.
Okay, Jose, thank you for
Save
holding.
that
What's up?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Yeah, I was just wondering to see if you guys think Mapu would play any linebacker today.
It's a good question. I that's a better one for Deuce since you
I
watch the
was
defense.
watching the defense.
Was he doing linebackerish
No,
stuff?
he's a safety.
You think he's
he's
been
playing
playing
with the
safety?
safeties. He might play like in a third and long. They might have him at at a linebacker position where he's probably covering a running back or a tight end. But that's about the extent of his linebacker duty. I don't think I've ever seen him once in like a base defense with like Godchaux Guy and Wise in front of him, and he's like next to Jawan Bentley. Most of the stuff you've seen him at linebacker has been sub packages and all right, this is a third and long kind of situation, but otherwise I think he's a safety. But I'm optimistic he's going to play tonight. He had a big hit. I haven't checked in on Tucker Kraft, but he left the field. He crumbled to the ground.
So something in like a hybrid defensive set, they would bring him up a little bit and kind of in
Duggar.
Okay.
Same kind of stuff.
Okay.
Same
All
kind of
right.
stuff as Duggar.
Is that good enough, Jose?
Was that typical
Would that
of-
would that get you close enough to make you happy?
Yeah, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch tonight.
I just had one extra question. You guys
Yeah.
said about the 3 quarterbacks. What about 2 kickers? I heard Evan and talking about that a little bit, that they might carry Folk and the new guy.
Yeah, my guess is Folk will go to the practice squad if they want to do something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if they talk, if that's assuming Folk is interested in doing that,
Right.
my guess is they would put him on the practice squad and activate him as necessary.
I just think folks continue to be a little bit more consistent. I think they both had a miss or two every day, but Ryland is consistently. He always misses 1 or 2 for sure. And Folk had some good days. And I would say on the other flip side, I thought, I didn't get too into like analyzing the punters.
I've been reading about this a little
and I
bit.
said
Our
it,
guy
right?
is kind of struggling a little.
I did, right?
Hey, I asked you
Barringer.
about that on Thursday.
I know.
And also,
Yeah.
funny note, people are tweeting that it's pretty windy today in Green Bay, so the kicking tonight should be very interesting.
Well,
so I wonder if
there was a funny one. It was the Packers. Yeah, it was the Packers kicker, and the wind was coming, and it was the first day, and so they had a net behind there was like one of those uprights that you roll over. You know, it's like a portable upright.
Now, was that on Nitschke Field or Hudson Field?
I think it was Nitschke.
Okay.
So the wind's coming from the back of the end zone, and it had a net behind it, and the net is blowing through the uprights, and so the kicker kicks the ball. And it hits the net, and it would have gone in, but it never went through because the wind was blowing the net
no
through,
good, as you
and
know.
it helped it up. So it was funny. A lot of the Packers guys were like looking at the equipment guys like, "What the hell?" You know, like gotta keep it up. But but it was funny because I know you asked me about Ryland, or I'm sorry, Behringer.
Yep.
And I was like, I wasn't overly observing them. That was kind of the time we would congregate. But both times I look back, I'm like, that don't look like a good punt. Like, and then I'm reading the same thing you guys read, where I was like, no, it was. He had a rough couple of days there. So,
was that your first time at Lambeau?
Yeah.
Everything you thought it would be?
Sure.
His life didn't change.
Give it to me. Let me tell you something.
We talked about it.
Love it.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But my life didn't change.
Okay.
You know, I didn't tweet any pictures of it.
Good.
I took one of Vince Lombardi, but my comparison was like, well, if Gillette Stadium was in the middle of Foxborough instead of being on Route 1, that would kind of be what it was like, you know.
Okay, I'm going to pull back from that. Okay.
No,
I'm going to pull back from the 100+ years of history.
Yeah.
So I've been listening to Bedard all week. I worked with Trenny last night, and they're both insufferable with the Green Bay stuff. And then I'm watching.
I just thought in general with the Green Bay stuff. I get it.
this sounds like people with Notre Dame
someone's
with
stuff.
the Green Bay stuff. Don't forget the prepositional phrase. But then a couple of days ago, I saw this thing, which I don't know how this had escaped my attention for all of my adult life, but the whole bike thing going from the training room over to the field. Whee! And then I see a video of one of the players walking over and a kid riding his bike next to the player. I'm like, well, he's not taking the kid's bike. This is just a kid who appeared to be about 6-7 years old on a bike with training wheels riding along next to one of the players walking over. I'm like, well, this is double useless. Number one, somebody grab a 9/16 socket set and get those training wheels off that bike because that's a waste. And number two, what are we doing now? It's just the walk over to the practice field sponsored by Huffy and a kid gets to ride along next to the player. How am I supposed to possibly give a crap about this tradition when it's not even a thing? There's no point to it.
Right. Well,
why do I care?
Build a locker room in the field house, and then you won't have to have the whole team walk over from the stadium every day.
How did the kids get their bikes back when this used to be an actual thing when the players would ride the bikes over?
Well, I think
would they just trot alongside?
Yeah, I think that's how it goes.
Bike rack or something.
Who cares? Who cares?
Wow.
And the bleachers inside Lambeau? Actual bleachers instead of seats?
I didn't get to observe the inside of it. I just
Not a
walked
big
around
fan.
the inside.
I feel like I'm listening to people go to like Notre Dame for the first time. That's what this feels like.
I would have
right
liked
now.
that because I saw Rudy and I liked Rudy.
And you know what? I've done that, and it didn't move either. Like I just don't get it.
You didn't have visions of running out of that tunnel with your helmet
no,
shining in the
no.
And this is
it's cool. Like I can really appreciate the history. It's really cool. It's not the same going to Lambeau Field or Notre Dame as it would be to go to
SoFi Stadium.
The Sistine Chapel.
I'm just gonna use Tennessee next week.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I recognize that Lambeau Field much cooler than whatever they're calling the place that used to be a Delphi Coliseum in Tennessee now. I don't know. It's probably on 7 names since then, but I get it. But it's still
this
just a
isn't
football
even
stadium.
to pick on Lambeau, and it's
No.
not because the last time I did this,
I'm more picking on
people
the people
in
that
Dallas,
talk like children.
Dallas picked up on it, and then I got like harassed on Twitter for like a week, and I'm just trying to avoid a repeat of that. Look, I get it. I'm sure it's a cooler place than most of the NFL stadiums in terms of the history and the vibe and all that stuff, and I get it. And even Trenny was explaining to me last night as it's more like a college football atmosphere where everybody is not the people like Midwestern people. I'm a Midwestern person. I'm from Michigan. So I get it. There's a vibe, there's a mentality. People are nice. And if you go to like a Big Ten college football game, which I've been to a bunch of them, and as much as I hate Michigan, going to a game, at the big house is a cool thing.
So I said
right?
that would be a good example. Like, it wouldn't be like, a pilgrimage for me, but I could certainly understand Michigan, the big house, as opposed to Michigan State. Two major college environments,
right?
Two Big Ten, elite programs. I can recognize the big house is a little different than going to East Lansing.
It's 110,000 people, and it's in a bowl, and it's like, holy crap, this is like a whole thing going on here. Maybe you didn't get the whole vibe because it wasn't a game day.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
This is the overall point. It's not to pick on Lambeau or anything else. Most things do not live up to the hype. I've been to precisely one sporting thing in my life that lived up to expectations.
Are you going to let us know before the break or after?
Is that Detroit preseason
Are
game?
we breaking?
we have to be getting close now.
I don't know.
You wish.
You left all your reads over
Okay.
here.
You do wish.
Oh, yeah. Well, could you hand me?
Any day now.
Can I be a teaser?
Party.
By
You're
the
going to
way,
leave the people hanging? Are you kidding me?
What is You Do Wish? That's from something.
You do wish. I don't know.
I don't know. It's from a
Party.
movie.
You're gonna make
something.
wait. You're gonna make people wait until after the break?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
Called a tease.
It's called
Big market.
Tease in the break.
Big market tease.
You think about the one thing.
You think about that.
That has been hyped to, it's near death. And when I got there, it exceeded expectations. How about that?
For a sporting event?
Stick around for the next 8 seconds and to find out.
Was it the
Hey, Patriots fans.
Was it the bean pot?
It's at a Lions preseason game.
Was it the Ultimate Frisbee Championship in Sarasota?
Oh,
Yes.
the Masters.
Hey, Patriots. Jesus, Paul. How long have you been doing radio, honestly? Like soft 25 years?
You need another tease now, I think.
Hey, Patriots fans, it's always game on with Dunkin', which is why grabbing a coffee is the most important game day ritual, because the best call for football is Dunkin', the official coffee of the official coffee of the New England Patriots. America runs on Dunkin'.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want on your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in PC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
$1 million? For picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half of one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
We exist to keep your body and mind moving.
It's never too late to rise.
Because everybody is a Therabody.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
$1 million? For picking players? That's a lot of money, DraftKings. You know how many jokes I got to tell to make $1 million? Probably like a half a one.
Take a free shot at $1 million with DraftKings, the leader in daily fantasy sports.
We exist to keep your body and mind moving.
It's never too late to rise.
Because everybody is a Therabody.
Official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like my plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get my plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want on your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get my plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
We have an influencer suite. We would love to have you out, create content, collab, all the things.
I still don't get it.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
I don't think I'd be good with contacts. I think if I do need glasses, I think I'm going to have to get glasses.
Oh,
now
no,
I can see that screen
glasses.
now because Marine Matt, always on top of all this stuff, and I didn't even ask. He turned the monitor so I could see it. So thank you, Matt. But I can see it now. But I think I'm going to need glasses, and I'll bring all my shoes so I have them. But I have to go to an eye doctor. They have doctors just for your eyes, right?
Yeah,
that is correct.
They'll do that like blow air in your eye thing. You ever get your pupils dilated? That's fun.
Not since Vegas. I do have readers.
Yeah.
So it's a step. That's
the frustrating thing about contacts and stuff is you still need things like that.
You still need readers?
Yep.
I want LASIK so bad.
I do too, but I've been told that I will still need like readers and things like that.
Mm.
I was told I was too old for LASIK. I don't think that was true.
But my mom got.
It's definitely not true because I wasn't told that, and I'm older than you.
Yeah.
So.
My mom is going to be 80 in January, and she got some kind of. I think hers was cataract surgery. Is that cataract surgery?
It's a little different.
Where you don't, but she didn't need the readers anymore.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Something.
I'd get that.
Yeah, because I think it might be the other way around, Mike. Sometimes they don't want to do it on really young people because their eyes are still sort of adjusting and deteriorating, and then you're just going to need something else.
Yeah.
Now, our old friend Megan O'Brien got them at a very young age.
Got
the
laser,
the LASIK.
Yeah.
She was like coming out. I think that was like her graduation gift.
Wow. I've been wearing
eye
contacts
surgery
since,
is a graduation
Same.
gift.
Yeah, she's
crappiest gift ever.
I got
she's a
golf
different sort.
Kind of wondered, why am I so hot?
I'll let you know what I get.
Yeah, she was probably very excited. You know what? She was probably grateful for the eye surgery gift as a graduation present. I'd be pissed.
I think if I recall, and I'm surprised that Mike doesn't because he usually remembers these kinds of. It was like a whole thing. Like her, she had her options to do like something, a couple of different things.
Go to Australia, or
I don't know, get a car.
She took the eye
20/20 vision without having to deal
the
with
eye surgery
contact solution every day.
That's why she's so hot.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, Tamara.
Why am I
Hardy,
so
we're
hot?
still waiting for your thing that
Tamara's
lived up
correct.
to the hype.
Yeah,
Oh,
what was
Paul
it? So
blew
what
it up.
was it?
Paul blew it up for the break. Okay,
Oh.
before we go to Roy in Delaware, the one sporting event that I've been to that exceeded expectations, lived up to all the hype, and then some was the Masters.
These are the greenest greens.
And you get
these eyes I've ever seen.
What? What do you mean? Oh,
That's not what I was expecting you to say, but okay.
what?
What were you expecting?
He has a drop for everything.
You hear about like not only the conditions of the golf course, but it's like what it's like when you walk through the gates and and how the people are there and what and
How
what
you're
the
accosted?
Well, no, what the actual experience is like walking around the course and like, you know, the $2 sandwiches out on the course and the, you know, you can take a chair with you and leave it and, you know, you don't have to worry about anybody taking it. You go back, it'll still be there, but other people can use the seat. You just put your little, like a card or something in the back of it when you come back and say, that's my chair.
That's mine.
Everything.
That doesn't work around
It doesn't work anywhere at any time. And going to the Masters.
How that works with a parking spot in Southie.
It was one of those experiences where we were walking around like, yep, everything is perfect. Everybody is Southern hospitality, nice to a fault. There's characters. There's, you know, every walk of life, everything you hear about, you experience in that one trip to Augusta National.
Unlike any other, welcome friends to this tradition unlike any other.
Thank you very much.
Did you? I don't know if did you ever actually play there? And if not, no. Okay,
yeah,
so
yes, of
did you
course.
just after going there? Did you have like, oh my God, it'd be so cool to actually play this course? Like, what was? No, you just to be there was enough.
No, I don't need to go mess up their
go
nice
lose
golf course.
25,000 balls.
No, I mean it's fine. Of course I would play it in a second, but it's not like what. So last summer we went to St. Andrews. Also,
that's where they invented the game. Except there they called it golf.
You know what they're made. Wow, very good.
That was good.
That was very good. Actually, St.
He
Andrews.
pretends he doesn't.
I have two: the Masters and St. Andrews. Everything you hear about St. Andrews.
Oh, you went there too?
Yeah. But that one you want to go back. I want to go back and play. I can't wait to go back and actually play there. But that's because you can play there. It's public course. You can go play. You just go to stand in line, get in line at 4 a.m.
If Augusta was a public course that you could just go play, you would want to play it then?
Sure. Oh, yeah. God, yes.
So you don't want to play it because it's
I
private?
can't.
Oh. Okay, fair enough.
How much does the round cost there?
Because I will say, and I wouldn't want to play all those courses because I just am not good enough, and it's not really.
You keep saying that. I don't believe
but,
you.
Like, playing the country club was cool.
That was cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Played it twice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, like, I don't need to go play Pebble Beach and shoot a 155, you know?
I'd go play Pebble. I would do that. Absolutely. Tamara is completely unimpressed with my Augusta
Golf
National
talk.
story. What's the problem?
I'm making sure warm-ups are ready to go.
No, but do you not
you
know
okay?
about like the
I'm
hype and the
unwell.
mystique and everything surrounding some of these
No.
great golf courses around the world? St. Andrews?
No, now if you
No.
said, like, you know, be in the stands as Enter Sandman was
Oh,
playing at
yes.
Virginia Tech.
Yes, I'm. You've got my
Tamara
full
would be
attention.
in.
You got my full attention.
See? I know you.
Yeah.
Metallica. It's my jam.
Yeah, I know, but it's been done. It's
By Virginia Tech. It's extremely well done, too. I
Well,
have
yeah,
to say.
Was it good when Mariano Rivera used it too? It's
Not
like
as
it's
good as Virginia Tech.
It's not a unique
And it's
thing.
not just a Yankee hatred thing.
It's not.
It's unique.
Other people use it. You know who also uses it? Metallica. When they actually play it at a concert. That's a pretty cool thing, too. There's one Augusta National. There's one St. Andrews. That is a
Strolls
thing.
in at 528 and just
He's being
rips
a hater.
everybody.
You're being a hater.
Drinking his blueberries and
Let's talk to Roy in Delaware. Hey, let's go to Delaware. Roy, you're on the Patriots Pregame Show presented by Dunkin. What's up?
Hey, hi. Yeah, thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to ask you guys a question.
Of course.
So my question was, as you guys are covering like the practice and the joint practices from Lambeau right now, what do you guys think, like the last position for the wide receiver to go to? Like, are you guys thinking of Malik, or are you guys are thinking of like Keyshawn, or maybe Bob Douglas? What you guys are thinking?
Okay, so that's interesting. I appreciate the question, Roy. And we were talking about Malik earlier. It's like, okay, if you're going to have him on the roster as, you know, the emergency quarterback, well, wait a second, that kind of defeats this purpose. But if you actually need him to go into a game, then okay, that defeats that purpose. If you put him on the roster and he's there as a wide receiver, well, he's going to have to take that slot away from somebody else.
Yeah.
Would you do that? Is there someone that you would swap out Malik
Yeah,
Cunningham
and I
for
think
right
that's
now?
what I was getting at when Tamara brought up, you know, working as a gunner. And so, like, we could get him on, you know, on the punt team and punt return or something like that. And now he's a wide receiver, you know, probably not getting any snaps as a wide receiver, just as Matthew Slater type wide receiver. He's going to play
Gotcha.
special teams. But now that opens the door for me to be able to use him in a package of RPO kind of plays or quarterback draws if I want to do something in the middle of the game without having to do the whole emergency quarterback, thing.
Yeah.
I can just have Zappy and Mac as my two quarterbacks and not have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen much out of
seen
Booty
much out
or
of
Cunningham as receivers. I mean,
Booty I think has come on, but I think you can get him on the practice squad.
Yeah, I did too. I think there was a little bit of a groundswell around Booty after maybe a couple good practices, but I don't know. I think I still need to see more. I mean, he could. I didn't really see any of him at joint practices, and he wasn't really doing anything when they had the top dogs out
So
there.
the best that he looked, according to those that were there, was early on in the first day,
Yeah.
the one series of plays that was good for the offense with Mac, and then Zappy, I think he made like 3 or 4 catches.
Yeah.
And everybody was talking about, out of nowhere, his Booty, and then we didn't see much of him after that.
No, I'm still skeptical. I think Douglas is
I think
pretty much a
Douglas
lock.
is that guy, the fifth receiver. Now, like, I don't know about Thornton's injury.
That's my big question is what is his status and what kind of role is Thornton going to? I mean, if he's healthy, they're gonna use him. But after those 5 guys, I don't really see how a need or a want for Cunningham or Booty based on what I've seen so far. Now there's still a week of preseason and this game tonight, so those could change, but we'll see.
All right. How about Christian in L.A. joining us here, 855-PATS 500. Christian, what do you got for us?
Hey, you guys. Happy Saturday to you.
Same to you.
I'm out here in L.A. getting ready for the first tropical storm hurricane in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Be safe.
But there's no such thing as global warming. Anyway, I digress. So with Thornton,
I'd love you
sort of out
to connect the
again-
dots on that someday, but whatever.
All right, Paul.
with Thornton out, with what I kind of presume is going to be another probably season or 3 or 4 game injuries, because the case of the same size of body and arm that the collarbone was broken last year. Do you guys see a scenario where he would go on injured reserve or PUP to start the season?
He can't go on
with
PUP.
elevated boost?
He's not eligible to go on PUP. He could go on IR, but I think Mike is giving me I have no idea on the severity of the injury.
No idea.
Like if he did, Christian, break his collarbone like he did last year, then he's going to open on IR, like he did last year.
Yeah.
But in order to go on PUP, you have to open camp on PUP. You can't get hurt during training camp and be eligible for PUP.
Yeah.
So question: if he does go on injured reserve, this is his, second injury in as many years. There's always been the question about his frame, being able to get open. Do we cut the cord with Thornton, or is he too high of a pick last year for us to cut the cord for someone that's coming on, like Keyshawn Boutte or a scout quarterback like Malik Cunningham on the roster?
I don't think you can cut him yet. I mean,
Nope.
I don't think he's
You
a
can, but
high
they
round
won't.
pick, and you got to give him a chance.
But do you think he's been such a bust that as a second round pick you have to cut him?
No.
No, I don't think it's. I agree with Mike. I don't think it's anywhere close to that.
No. So we're not
This is
there
not
yet,
N'Keal
Christian.
Harry. I would have.
Yeah,
I would have been given serious consideration to cutting ties with N'Keal Harry in year 2.
Yes, but there's
but
no
Thornton
way.
has done much more at practice than Harry ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last question for you guys. Do you guys think, for example, that the Cincinnati Bengals kept John Ross way too long? Here's another guy with 4.2 speed, could never really get started, kind of always injured, but they kept him on the roster because he had garnered such a high draft spot, but he never actually got on the field to do that one thing that they were banking on him to do.
Anybody any thoughts on John Ross?
I'm certainly
zero.
I'm certainly no expert on John Ross. I don't know when he should have been cut.
I don't know. I would just say the thing for me is I haven't really seen the speed with Thornton. I haven't really seen that pop yet. And he's tall and they use him in a variety of ways. But I haven't seen the speed translate into the game yet. Really, he had a couple moments last year, but I just think it's so hard when a rookie receiver gets injured right out of the gate last year, and if he has to miss more time now. I mean, Paul brought up N'Keal Harry. It hasn't been that bad, but it's the same kind of path that happened with him, that you get hurt, you can't really build any momentum, and then all of a sudden, a kid like DeMario Douglas is
I
there
just
every
have
day.
seen momentum when he plays. I never saw any momentum when Harry played.
Yeah.
And I know everybody said he could do this and he could do that, and he's a red zone.
Right.
Never saw
No,
any
he
of
never
those
even
things.
got it. Never even
Never
got it
saw
going.
any of those things. Just looking up John Ross. John Ross missed his whole rookie year. He was hurt the whole year. He played one game. So the next year he caught 21 passes for 210 yards and 7 touchdowns. 7 touchdowns on 21 catches. Then the next year he caught 20.
He can do.
Tyquan Thornton did not catch 7 touchdowns.
They don't bombs him just to check his speed.
He did not catch 7 touchdowns last year. But then the second year, which was actually his third year, he had 28 for 506, and he got hurt again. And then you know what? He was gone. They waited one more year. He played one game, and that was it. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they waited a year too long to get rid of him. Maybe instead of 4 years, he should have only gotten 3. But I don't know. If I'm Cincinnati and I get a first-round pick who the first year he plays for me catches 7 touchdown passes, I'm not cutting him. If Thornton catches 7 touchdowns this year, you want to cut him before next year?
No, but
well, that's what John Ross did.
No, it's more of like a N'Keal Harry situation where he keeps saying Thornton's got this speed, Thornton's got this, but you haven't even seen it on the practice field.
Oh, I've seen it on the practice field. I have, personally. I've seen it on the practice field, especially last year. I saw a lot from him on the practice field before he got hurt in the Carolina preseason game. Now, he did nothing in the regular season. That I'll grant you. Nothing.
Yeah. I just to be clean, I'm disappointed. I really wanted him to be a better player this year, and it's.
I'm terribly disappointed in Ty Montgomery. Why are we saving a roster spot? That could be Malik Cunningham's spot.
Well,
but he's just not going to do any good for us in any way. Even if he comes back, who is he kicking to the curb? Zeke can catch the ball. Ramondre can catch the ball. Strong can catch the ball once he gets okay. Who is Ty Montgomery really going to replace? Why does he deserve a roster spot?
Look, I like Ty Montgomery's a hot button issue because he's a 8-9 year vet who's never really done anything in the league. But all of us who have watched Patriots practice will tell you, every single time you watch practice and he's out there, he's one of the most involved, guys that are just all over the place. So I totally get the point. But based on what I've watched at practice, he does way more for this offense than Kayshon Boutte's ever going to do, than Malik Cunningham's going to do this year. I mean, they see the real value in Ty Montgomery. I think you need at least 3 backs. I don't think they're going to.
It's availability.
No, you're totally right, Christian. You're totally right. It's almost, I don't want to say comical, but it's unbelievable that it just unfortunately keeps happening to him. And, a little play that doesn't look like anything major was like, I don't know, this 3rd day of training camp, and we haven't seen him again. So
it's frustrating.
No question.
All right, Christian, we got to go. I
gotta go.
Sorry. Can you hang up on Christian, please? Okay, thank you. That's 6 minutes.
So what's it happen in real time?
Deuce, I would love to.
Plus, I have a minor problem at home. My son is texting me. It's his birthday, by the way.
Oh,
happy birthday, Calvin. I swear to God, he's 13 years old today.
Oh,
he's a teenager.
Wow. I hope he was on here listening to you saying you don't like kids.
I know. Puppies
they know.
I hope he's listening.
Both my kids absolutely know. They know I love them, but all other kids.
I'm team babies.
Very, very touch and go.
I think
he couldn't find he couldn't. He couldn't find his mommy or his sister.
Oh no!
And it's like, where are mommy and Katie? I'm like, I don't. He said, where are you? I'm like, at Gillette Stadium. Remember when I walked out the door and said, happy birthday, love you, buddy. Gotta go to work. Like, no. I'm like, okay. So now I'm on the Life 360 app tracking down my wife and daughter.
They
I'm
just
like,
ditched him on his birthday? What are they doing?
Screenshotting that. I'm like, here are their icons.
Wait,
you
don't
have the same.
do that. What if they're picking up something for him?
They're not.
Oh my God.
Getting a puppy for him.
You just ruined a whole surprise.
Well, okay, if he is listening right now, and we're going to make him think they are picking up a surprise for him.
They might be getting his cake, his present. I mean,
I got his cake 2 days ago. Okay, so listen to me. If he's thinking they're out getting him a surprise and they come up with no surprise, isn't that worse?
Fair.
No,
okay.
You don't need stuff.
Got to keep a low bar.
Sorry.
What were we doing?
I don't. Christian was going on and on while I was trying to find. I was about to file a missing persons report, and it's like, how about you look outside because I can see on the app where they are right now. Open the front door. Look.
That's hysterical.
Look, boy.
Can we turn this game to the Steelers game?
Yeah, we can do whatever you want.
I heard they're
whatever you want.
I heard they're looking great against the Bills starting defense.
Oh, really?
Oh, all right. Whatever Tamara wants,
George
Tamara gets.
Pickens for OPI in the middle. Yeah.
2 touchdowns in 5 minutes on the Bills starting defense.
Oh.
I want to see this.
What we're doing right now.
Okay, back on topic. Deuce, were you on radio with us Thursday when Paul was talking about Shaun Wade?
No, but he actually had a pretty good. That's a good person to bring up.
He was mentioning how seems to be putting the pieces together as of late, and does he have the potential to potentially take someone like Miles Bryant's spot?
It's hard to say that. I mean, I think Miles Bryant, I know he can be a hot button issue for some fans, but he's out there with the top guys all the time. I mean, Wade had a good run, and I'd put Bledsoe in that too. Like, I feel like there's two guys who are like getting into their third year, and it's kind of like, now or never for those guys. So I think those are two really good guys to watch tonight. I think Wade is one that, even if he didn't make the roster, you can maybe get him through. But, with the uncertainty with Jack Jones, maybe that could come into play. So I think those two guys are kind of dark horses maybe for the roster.
Is there any concern, or was there any concern in Green Bay over John Jones not being there, or was it?
Well, Karen Gregan reported that he should be ready to go. That it's something minor, and they're just kind of being cautious with him. So that's a good sign. I mean, I actually talking to Mike Pellegrino yesterday on the coaches was just. He didn't answer the question, but I asked him, was like, this gives a chance now. You're basically running with Jack Jones, with Christian Gonzalez, Marcus Jones, all, rookie, second-year guys, giving them a ton of reps in all kinds of situations. So regardless of how it kind of all flushes out with who's available, I think, it's just going to be a good week for, I thought Jack Jones was outstanding on Thursday. I mean, he was just one guy that actually kind of stuck with Watson, for a couple reps, and had a pass break up on him, and so he had a good day, and I think they could really use him if he's on.
I need him to be on, but also off the field. Like it's like he's someone who, like I was mentioning earlier with Jordan Love, he has potential.
Yeah.
But I just need him to
playmaker. I know. That's frustrating.
Turn all the stuff off the field off.
Well, let me tell you something. What I'm hearing right now, and the general consensus was when that hearing got pushed back to September, because he was supposed to be in court yesterday.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that means there's a plea deal. That means they're working out a plea deal. I heard from somebody who's just, around that stuff said, oh, no plea deal. This is, by the way, all roads point to no plea deal with the lawyer that he hired and the way he's been treating the situation.
Yep.
No, this is right now, if you want to lean one way or the other, don't take that delayed proceeding to mean plea deal. You can take it to mean they're going to trial, and his defense is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. And it's something that the Patriots are going to have to decide. All right, like Tamara just said, it's like all this off the field stuff. We know you can do on the field, but all the off the field stuff, how many chances, are we talking about? How many does a person get? How many have we given him? At what point does it become too much to where we say it's not worth it? If he really pops in a joint practice session and he looks good throughout the rest of camp and maybe looks good in week 1 or 2, I think their appetite is going to be much stronger for suffering through the nonsense. But it may be way more nonsensical than a plea deal and 120 hours of community service in talking about, how you have to be careful, when you're going to airports. It's not going in that direction.
Yeah.
It's going in a scorched earth direction in terms of who we hired and how they're approaching this case.
I'm just...
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with making people uncomfortable, but when I say make people, I mean everybody uncomfortable. It's like, I don't think anyone's going to just based on what I heard is just one person telling me this one thing. It's like, no one's going to like the way this sounds. Not if you're a Jack Jones supporter, if you're a Law and Order guy, if you're nope, everyone is out to get him and anybody who wants to carry gun. No one is going to be comfortable with the defense that is presented, other than him if he somehow gets off.
Do you think them still having him out there participating, like he's gonna play, says something?
Yes, I think it says that. This is what I think it says. We can no longer afford to be that picky with players and their behaviors off the field or on the practice field. we need every single talented player we can get in order to approach the 500 mark and go above for this season. And we cannot afford to dismiss somebody or sit somebody down just because they ran afoul of the law or of the practice rules. Nope, that ain't us anymore. New rules. No rules. If you can play, you stay.
See, it's interesting because I feel like
that's what I'm afraid that's what it says to me.
I would be okay with that if like there wasn't just such a long resume like of things that have happened.
Yeah.
Like for example, Jameis Winston stealing crab legs from Publix. He has not done that again since.
Yeah.
He made a really stupid mistake in college. Like, of course, people still talk about it. I'm still talking about it, but he hasn't done anything like that since. Like, we don't have like a long list of things that he's done.
I agree. And they're look, all of us, maybe not you, Tamara, all of us did dumb things
no, not me
when we were
either.
kids.
Not just you.
And hopefully sometimes got a second chance and you did right by it. There are other people, like when they signed Antonio Brown, I'm like, I know he can play and he is going to step onto the field, no practice, and automatically be your number one receiver. And oh my God, how can you see that it's not worth it? It's not worth it. And you know what? It wasn't worth it. And Antonio Brown's going through a lot of stuff, and I mean, he needs real help, I feel. But at the time, I don't think we knew that. All you knew is that this was going to be a major issue for your team if you sign him, and it was.
But don't you think it's interesting, Hardy, that they did that right after a Super Bowl, too? Like, I get your point of we kind of need all hands on deck right now to get to where we want to go. But it's like, you know, even 2019, coming off a Super Bowl win, it seemed like they were already ready to maybe
who do you
get
think
those guys.
Who do you think was really on board with signing him and having him around?
Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Brady.
Right. And look, I'm not going to – it sounds like I'm talking bad about the team, Brady and everybody else. No, I'm being completely honest about it. And if you want a winning football team and you're willing to – this is the thing that Zoe always talks about too. He's like, look, this is what you know about. He said, you're talking about 53 guys in the locker room. You take 53 people in any workplace, there are going to be some characters. There are going to be some people who are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You don't know about it, though, because you work at a radio station or you work at a paper company or you work at for a website, and it's not all out there. This stuff gets out there, and we hear about it. He said in that locker room, he said, I guarantee there are guys who are probably just as, let's say, electric as the players that we end up talking about. And there are all kinds of issues going on, but you deal with it. It's part of managing a football team. It's part of managing any big group of players, especially players who have been infused and driven by their need to succeed and dominate and do all this stuff. You know, you can't ask these guys to go out there and be, gladiators for 3 hours once a week and then just turn it off. And I get all that. It's been going on for decades in the NFL and in other sports. And I'm not, I'm empathetic to not just the players, but to the coaches and everybody who has to do it. But if you ask me what it means when he's still out there and he's still playing, it means, okay, they have shifted their thinking on this, and I think the thinking is probably more in line with most NFL teams.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Like there's all kinds of stuff going on in this locker room. This is only the stuff that you know about. We're dealing with a bunch of stuff right now. He stays, he plays.
I mean, it's the same thing with the Dalvin Cook stuff that came out, like right when Zeke and Dalvin were both signed, and everyone put them next to each other, and they were like, oh, look what's coming, down the road for Dalvin Cook, potentially.
Right.
So.
Right. The Ezekiel Elliott stuff, it's not pleasant.
No.
It's not fun to read about. And you go back and you read about it, and you're like, you got to make your peace with this stuff. If you're going to watch the game and you're going to, root for guys, you have to kind of divorce yourself from a lot of the personal stuff. And the people who can't, I don't know, they say they don't watch football anymore. They don't watch this sport. They don't do it. It's like, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of what I think it means. I don't know how we started going down that road. Let's do a fun question.
I don't know. Fun question.
Now that Paul's back, we can have some fun.
Let's do a fun question. Are you picking the fun question?
No, it's an electronic mail from Tyler in Providence. All right. Paul, how was the chin wag with the sports hub?
I would say it was top notch.
Really good?
Yeah, I would say it was really good.
in my honest opinion.
Okay.
So let me throw this out there. We
hit you with
opined on this
something?
before we get to the fun. 'Cause,
Sure.
I mean, who likes fun more than me? After we see Mac Jones tonight, would you guys be opposed to right away Malik Cunningham? You know, maybe he gets to play against twos, so you see him against a little bit of a higher level.
I think that would be significant.
I would love
wouldn't
it.
be
And
opposed.
then
I
you
would
have
enjoy it.
because you have next week for Bailey Zappi to get ready. And,
For me, that would start to change my mind that they actually might have something in mind for him.
And also, we did see Bailey Zappi for a pretty long time last week.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Played into
I
the
wouldn't
third
oppose
quarter.
it.
So, no, I would
What-
kind of like it, but
do you think this
even
is
though it
going to
would
happen,
defeat
Paul?
my point.
I mean, is there a reason why you're
is there
asking?
rumbling? Is there a groundswell?
No, well, there's a groundswell, but I don't have any information as to that it's going to
it
happen.
rumbling?
We're trying to will it into existence.
Okay.
Describe the ruckus.
All right.
Can you describe that?
Fun question from Tyler in Providence.
Just a fun fact.
Just a fun fact.
Hardy, I've asked the P. Oh, they've already
Oh.
asked you. Damn it.
They only want your opinion.
I've asked the P. Well, you can reiterate what you said before.
Okay.
In your opinion, what would be the perfect Super Bowl halftime performer?
I saw Taylor Swift turned it down.
Taylor Swift. I think she's turned it down more than once.
Mhm.
You want to know why? This is
Why?
going to hurt people's feelings. Taylor is bigger than the Super Bowl. She doesn't need it.
I believe that.
Oh, there's no
Also,
question.
I
Well,
did not
Tamara
know.
should be Metallica, so there we go. We got that.
I did not know you don't get paid to be like the halftime Super Bowl performer.
No, there's
Well,
no money involved in it, but
I did
a
not
lot of
know that.
exposure.
I think
and when you die on your deathbed, there'll be total consciousness.
So you'll have that going
Total
for you,
Okay.
which is nice. No, it actually costs somebody a lot of money. It's either the presenting sponsor or the record label. There's a lot of money that goes into those productions, and the performer does not get any of the
That's insane.
money.
I did not know that until
All right.
recently.
So, and by the way, Tyler's pick would be Weird Al. No, I don't think
come on,
Weird Al
Tyler.
would be.
That's-
Okay, I actually have a fun question.
Well, wait
we
a
gotta
second.
answer that.
You
can't
got to
move
answer
on.
that
We
one.
haven't answered
Okay,
that
fine.
question.
Now,
Can this be any time? I mean, does
it's-
this have to be like an alive current band that is like feasible, or could I dip down into the bag of history and say,
Oh wow.
you know, I want someone from
you
the,
can do
from the
one
past?
historical and one current one. How's that? Super Bowl halftime performer. It's rumored this year to be. They're in talks with Miley Cyrus and Harry Styles.
Oh, I wouldn't hate that.
I wouldn't hate it either.
I
and
love
I have no
Miley.
interest in Miley Cyrus,
hate
but
that.
I
I
wouldn't
like
mind
Miley.
Harry
I
Styles.
hate that
I
song
think that
so
I-
much.
What song?
Flowers.
Okay.
I want to put an ice pick in
thank
my
you, Paul.
eyeball
Thank
every
you,
time
Paul.
I hear
Me
it.
too. The flowers,
Flowers.
one. I don't care
The
for
Flowers song that's on like
Drives me
literally
nuts.
every
Drives
30
me
seconds.
nuts.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's not for me.
is that a Harry Styles song?
No, it's a Miley
Miley.
Cyrus song.
I don't know it.
I can buy myself flowers. Do you want?
Oh,
do you want,
yeah,
do you want
yeah,
Mike
yeah.
and I to break into
I
song?
can buy myself
I think this is my
flowers.
cue to leave.
Yeah.
I like the Watermelon Sugar
Write my
song.
name in the sand.
But what?
Yeah, I
my
know.
gosh.
Okay, I know
But
that
what,
one.
but what trait are you looking for at a Super Bowl halftime show? Like, are you looking for like
I need
the
someone-
spectacle of it all, or you know, like I don't.
You got to be able to put on a show.
Yes.
You got to be able to
Yes.
put on a show.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like some people that they can sing, but like they're boring, and I
See?
I
All right,
can't.
my historical won't be Led Zeppelin.
Can I give you like a bad take?
Oh,
Like
God.
it's,
I think Deuce just gave it to you. Led Zeppelin for
Yeah.
the Super Bowl halftime
Oh.
performer.
Yes.
So I personally think the Super Bowl halftime show is one of the most overrated things that we've ever sort of fabricated.
Okay.
I know it's a bad take. I know I'm probably on an island of one. I just don't have really any interest
Well,
in
it's
Super
not
Bowl
for us.
So-
halftime
It's not,
shows.
the Super
the
Bowl
people not
halftime
watching
show
the
is
game.
meant to bring in non-football audience
Okay.
to watch the Super Bowl.
But
so
my
it's
point
not,
is, evidently, I am the only one who watches the halftime show every year and doesn't have an opinion on it.
It was fine.
So who was it last
Oh,
year?
no. It's never fine. It's always the worst thing they've ever done.
Rihanna.
Oh.
It's
Pregnant.
always the
greatest
worst.
halftime
It's
show
always
happened
the
2 years
worst
ago,
thing
Dr.
they've
Dre and
ever
Eminem.
done.
Okay, so you had no opinion on the one. Thank you, Marie Matt, from 2 years ago. Dr. Dre, Eminem. It was like the whole like history of hip hop, and it was kind of like this, almost looking inside a dollhouse, and they went from like room to room.
Doll's eyes.
Yes.
Dr. Dre playing the riffs on the piano for Tupac. Yeah.
Black eyes.
Doll's eyes.
Doll's
Ah,
eyes.
those eyes roll over white.
Two jaws.
You hear that awful high-pitched screaming?
And the moaning and the screaming and they bite you.
I'll never put a life jacket on again.
Would you?
Sorry.
Okay, so I have no opinion on Rihanna. It was fine. That one from 2 years ago was fantastic. It was not the greatest one of all time. How dare you?
I don't remember
The
any of them.
greatest Super Bowl halftime show of all time is 100% Prince.
Okay.
And on this
that's
issue,
good. I like
there
that one.
can be a no debate.
I don't know
That
why.
was
I don't
it.
know why you have to make fun of Italians when you. try to
What
do
year
that.
was that? What year was the Prince?
I'm not making.
What year was the Prince?
Sorry, my
Oh,
Aunt
06?
Nancy.
Sorry, he dropped the.
Yeah, it sounds like it. In Jacksonville, when it was raining.
Miami, I think.
Miami.
Oh.
When
Was it
raining.
the Colts Chicago?
It rained.
It rained.
It rained while he
think
did
that
Purple
was-
Rain.
I think that was the year.
And as he is walking out on stage, he's got his high heels on, and he was actually playing guitar and singing like live instrument from Prince, live vocals. And they said, "Prince, what do you want to do? You know, it's raining. What do you think?" And he said, "Can they make it rain harder?" That's what he said.
I want to be coached. I want to be coached harder. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
2006 season now.
Yeah. Year was 07.
That's it.
I just
that.
like, and again, I understand it. You like you said, it's not for me. Maybe it's just because I'm not a huge live music fan in general, but they just don't really do anything for me.
Okay, fine. So
I did like I
I'm
liked
kinda with
Prince.
you. I'm
I
kinda with
liked Eminem because I like Eminem. I liked what was there was one the J-Lo Shakira one for different reasons.
Shakira. Yeah.
But I just
I thought Katy Perry was overrated. At the show,
Oh,
the
the
actual
shark- the
spectacle,
shark- the baby shark
yeah,
thing
I
was
thought
funny.
Madonna was kind of funny because it looked like she was about to fall over at any moment. Like, would you stop? Would you stop at that? I think the Who is the greatest rock and roll band of all time. I did not think it was a good.
You
Super Bowl
remember
halftime
more
performance.
about every one of the
I don't,
shows.
like he's
than-
rattling them off. I have no idea. I forget about him right afterwards because I'm a football guy. You know?
What? No. Well, we've had
we're
this.
also working most of the time while it's going on.
Right.
Oh, I know you guys.
Although
man.
Deuce has never
No,
done that.
that's true. Never
No,
seen a
we've
playoff
had
win.
this conversation many times. I don't know current day who the perfect one would be. I'd like to see a rock band do it again,
Yeah,
like
right?
Foo
Yeah,
Fighters.
yeah.
I don't know if they put on a big enough show. I don't know if there's enough spectacle for
Foo
that.
Fighters.
So
Just go out
for
there
me,
and rock, you know?
Miley Cyrus and Harry Styles, that'd probably be fantastic. Probably be great. What are you gonna do? I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. I do care.
You seem to care.
That people recognize Prince as the greatest Super Bowl halftime of all time. That one,
I think I'll agree. I think I can acknowledge that. I mean, just the rain line alone. That's it's beautiful.
it's just kind of funny that Paul's.
I like Prince.
Well, Paul's whole thing of it's not a thing for me. It's like it wasn't a thing for anybody until about 92, 93. Like,
Oh, I know, they
we
never-
were well into adulthood.
Well,
you were
Up With People.
It used to be Up With People and marching bands. College marching bands did the Super Bowl
Really?
halftime
Yeah.
show. Like all through. Go look at.
And I find
look
no
at a
difference.
list of Super.
I have the same amount of interest. I know. I said it's a bad take. I fully admit it's a bad. I won't. You guys can yell at me, and I won't argue back because
No,
it's a
I'm-
bad.
I-
it's
I'm-
a bad
I
take.
think
It does
I'm-
nothing for me.
I'm
Nothing.
with you.
Well, there's
And
one.
I like music.
There's one thing in the Super Bowl that has really lost its luster, and that is the Super Bowl commercials. That used to be such a thing.
That's a good point too. I
And
agree with you.
Now they get leaked, days and weeks ahead of time.
They're just not that good.
And they're not that good. And I mean, I think we're all getting plenty of commercials now. Like every time you go online, you got to watch an ad. Every time you turn on that. And you know what? There's plenty of funny ads now. We've sat and had many a chuckle over the progressive commercials.
Absolutely. I was just thinking the same thing.
Is it,
Who knew the insurance company was going to corner the market
They
on
had to-
creativity?
Right.
come
So
up with
I don't know that. To me, that part of it just doesn't
Max
matter.
playing.
There we go.
Would you look at portrait mode again on the
Strutting out.
cameras?
Beautiful.
If you're, I hope you're watching us right now so you can see what we are seeing. My God, is that a gorgeous
filmic?
Look at that.
Is that at Lambeau Field?
That is cinematic
Holy
right
smokes,
there.
That's Lambeau Field, boys.
Who is shooting that? What kind of camera is that? Oh my God. I am moved.
All right.
By watching Mac Jones throw that just tiny little pass, just a little warm up, playing a little long toss. Well, it is, and it is at Lambeau Field. I can see the bleachers in the background. Who gives a crap?
I didn't even realize they had bleachers. That was new to me.
Yeah.
It's not seats.
Nope. It's a thing. It's a whole thing. So there we go. Enjoy that. Mac Jones warming up there at Lambeau Field for preseason game number 2 tonight. All right, let's do some more electronic mails here. You send him to webradio@patriots.com. Hi, gang. Matt in Framingham here. I know one of the topics this week on the radio was Belichick reading Mac Jones the riot act in one of the joint practices. Big deal or no? Deuce, you were there.
No, I don't think it's a big deal, but I mean, I thought it was probably necessary.
What happened?
So they were running situational stuff, and sometimes they'll do, they get a playoff, and then they're planning on just having the field goal team run on and try to get it, like the practicing that situation. And what I think happened was that they wanted to do it a second time, and Mac instead threw the ball away or, just made a mistake. I don't know exactly what the miscommunication was, but I think that they were trying to do that quick on and kick the field goal thing, and Bill was kind of fed up. And, I think it was a clunky practice, overall, I think the first day for the Patriots. So I think that was kind of near the end, and that's when emotions ran a little bit hot. But
okay.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a good thing. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like, he yelled at him, and then he came out the next day and had the best day ever. Just yell at him every day.
It was something, but it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I just think that's generally Bill getting frustrated.
That was like a Jermaine Wigginsism. It wasn't something. It wasn't nothing either.
Can we go to Dan in Connecticut first? This is important. It says Hardy is wrong.
You can read that.
So I am not going to let this call.
I'm just going to say I agree.
Dan, what am I wrong about? Do you have time to list all the things that I am wrong about, Dan?
Yeah, totally wrong, Hardy. The Prince show was spectacular with the rain, all that, but doesn't hold a candle to U2 in 01 with 9/11 and all that stuff, the scrolling names and the fact that it was the Patriots. I mean,
the single most overrated halftime show out of all of them. That one.
No. Oh, Paul, you just hate U2. Was that Paul?
Yep, he's right.
You're just a hater.
Dan just nailed me. I have no interest in U2. I will say, to Dan's point, in all seriousness, what they did at halftime blew everything else away because of 9/11 with the backdrop and the names.
Dan,
it was.
Yes.
I'm not being snarky, Paul. It was powerful.
It was powerful.
U2 had nothing to do with it.
It's almost like an unfair situation to judge anything else against. It's like, how can you? I get it, and it was powerful and it was moving, but in terms of a performance, was the performance better than Prince's?
And Beautiful Day is a terrible song.
Yes.
I said
where the streets have no name. You're not getting the whole context of him opening up a shirt. U2 made a history of never waving a flag, and then he had the American flag inside his jacket. That whole thing, man. You're not getting the context of it.
No, I was there. I got the context of it.
Yeah, I don't need a history lesson. If I need a history lesson on U2 to know why that was symbolic, then maybe it's not as good as you think it was. All I know is that Prince went out there and not only did Prince songs, but he also covered Jimi Hendrix, and he covered a Foo Fighters song, and he did it live, actually playing his instrument. And I'm not saying that U2 didn't.
Playing her instruments.
All of them, or just Bono?
No, they were playing.
All right, I'm gonna check your math on that.
I'm just telling you that.
You check that.
Whatever the halftime show was that year, it could have been Hardy and the Hardettes with that backdrop in the time of the time in the country. It would have been the most powerful thing you ever saw. It has nothing to do with. This is not I don't like U2. It had nothing to do with Bono. It had nothing to do with a flag. It was the time that we were in. I was in tears watching that, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not putting on an act. It was a very powerful halftime show. To me, it had nothing to do with music or entertainment. It was what they did.
I think it's probably a fair assessment to say that in terms of powerful and emotion, that one takes it. For the actual performance,
I'll leave that to you music snobs. You and Dan can fight that out. I'm not qualified. I'm in dead serious. I'm not qualified to tell you U2's music isn't as good as Prince's.
The guy that called.
Oh, I thought you were pointing at Deuce.
No,
though.
I pointed to the monitor.
Okay.
Dan said that U2 was, and I have nothing. I'm not shooting down Dan's opinion. He might have. U2 might be every bit the musicians that Prince are. I couldn't tell you.
Gotcha.
I'll let you guys fight it out. But the halftime show in 2001, to me, had almost nothing to do with the performer. I think it could have been anybody, and it would have been similarly felt.
Unless
it was powerful.
not Miley Cyrus, though. She came out and did Flowers on that. I would have been like, hell no.
Well, at least she would have been Markin.
But they, what?
Markin. And bring out an Irish band.
I can't find myself.
To pay tribute to America? What are we doing?
I do think that whatever performer was slated or whatever they decided was going to be
Paul.
They were going to go with the serious,
Good shot of Isaiah Bolden right there. Just want to point him out what a stud that guy just looks like. I mean, he just looks the part.
Did you ever see anybody who was more infatuated with guys in uniform?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
men in uniform.
This guy.
I have.
Look, we got a scuffle going. We got a pregame scuffle
How about
going.
that?
Oh.
A little dust up there. Look at that.
Little dust up.
Did we really?
Yeah, there was some John going on.
Maybe there's some life to this matchup after all. It's kind of like it's like Rocky and Thunderlips going at it.
Thunderlips,
go out,
baby,
in the flesh, baby.
But
Deuce.
yeah, there's Bolden. I mean,
I had another question for
we
you.
see him. Okay,
Yeah, look at him.
My God,
he's a professional athlete. Yep, Zoe, easy. That's who I've heard say to talk as much about how a guy looks in uniform. It's not a compliment. Zolak mentions it a lot.
Another question for you. First day, I know you watched defense, right?
I did.
I read from a number of different places, and I can't remember if you specifically wrote it because I did read your recap of that day. Jack Jones was getting into it with like a backup quarterback,
a little bit,
like some no-name scrub receiver beat him.
I saw
and he was yelling at everybody, right?
A couple times, but he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't the worst defender. He had
the first day. Like there was no real fights the first day, but he was getting in arguments with everybody.
Yeah,
according to the recaps, he had like 2 or 3 different altercations.
I can only speak to the 2 things I saw. Were one
2.
time,
okay, 2 things
he jawed at somebody, and then the second time he broke up a play and he kind of pumped the crowd and kind of did a flyby of the Packers sideline.
Oh, so okay, I had 2 different plays that he gave up.
It's
that
possible
somehow he was
time
yelling
at
the people that made the plays, including some no-name like receiver that I never even heard of.
I mean, it's so hard. You're on a sideline. There's a bunch of reporters on the sideline, and then you have a wall of players. And a lot of the plays you see it in little windows of, all right, Trent Brown's right here and Daniel Aquali's right here, and you get see the guy throw it, and then you see the ball like deflect in the end. It's a lot
you're
of that
at the
stuff
mercy
going
of what
on.
you actually had your eyes trained on.
And then somebody else is like, I got every throw charted. Like, what?
Yeah, I bring it up for because I had, like I said, I had read that he had gotten in a couple of fights, like not fist fights, but like he was jaw-jacking on a couple of occasions. And I had mentioned it on the Thursday show, and then someone said, nothing happened with Jack Jones yesterday. And I'm like, okay, I'm not there. I can't argue with. I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you what I read.
Yeah.
This is what happens. You're at the mercy of what you're reading, and that's why I wanted to get your. So you did see some of the stuff.
He was John a little bit, but
I think you wrote about it too.
Well, what I wrote about was the
second
day. It's the second day he avoided it all. He was out of it. He wasn't really in the midst. It was
probably
other people kind of
probably got spoken to about.
Yeah, and that was just something I was kind of waiting for because I know he runs hot. He's a competitive guy, but I like I said again, I thought Thursday was the best day of practice I've seen him have. So, but there was a lot of that going on both sides. I mean, Peppers was like a funny. His were like funny, which you kind of enjoy.
Funny how?
Funny, haha.
You want to hear something funny for real?
Yeah.
We're actually running out of time.
Yeah, we have to do over-unders.
We have to do over-unders, and Jake in the Caribbean, who used precious email minutes to email all the way in from the tropics, that you never got your hot Ezekiel Elliott takeout. So we got to get to that, too.
I don't really have a hot
You had
Ezekiel
papers.
Elliott.
He said you had papers.
Just the contract. I don't understand why the contract changes the opinion of the signing.
Because it went from a $4 million base to
a
somebody.
$3.
No, it's not a $3 million base.
If he plays and doesn't get a yard, he gets $3 million. That's what he's going to get if he plays. If he's on the team, he has $850,000 worth of roster bonuses. If he's on the team, he gets that. He doesn't have to do anything. He just has to be on the team.
Okay, well, that's a big difference. If he's unable to go, they don't have to pay him. That does mean something.
Oh, but then you'd get nothing out of him, so it's a terrible signing.
Okay, I'm just saying that
that's
there's a difference between just handing a guy $4 million and a guy that's like, you actually have to be able to still play. And if
Adam Schefter screwed it up because he considered roster bonuses base salary, and that's not right. Right. Adam Schefter got it wrong.
He'll probably end up making a minimum of 3. I will grant you that.
Correct.
Okay, but it's
and that's all I'm saying. And I don't understand why, like, for the life of me, and this is a separate thing, and this has got nothing to do with how much he's going to make or not make. I don't understand why Patriots fans care at all about that. Like, do you think Ezekiel Elliott was a good signing? I do. I'm fine with it. I felt like they needed a veteran running back. He wouldn't have been the one I picked, but they needed someone, and I'm fine with it. I think it was a good signing.
I'm fine with that too.
I don't care if he makes $3 million, $1 million, $4 million. They needed a veteran running back. I don't care what they pay. It's not coming out of my pocket. It doesn't matter to me. It's not going to change the value to me if he's good and I have to pay him $6 million, but it's an incentive.
Well, it really shouldn't matter.
It would matter to me that he's good.
When Matt Groh comes out and says weeks ago, like he did, we could have had DeAndre Hopkins. Anybody can afford him.
That infuriates me. Like, and if someone had said, well, Ezekiel Elliott, he wanted, $4 million instead of $3 million. Yeah.
They can pay.
So that makes you feel better that you got him for $3 million?
Yeah,
I don't understand that line of thinking.
Their entire receiver room is costing them what, $24 million? Like, they can afford to go out and sign anybody. They choose not to. If you want to be concerned about something, that might be something to be concerned with. And my feelings about Ezekiel Elliott quickly here, it's fine. I think he'll contribute. I think he'll add something to the team. I don't think it changes their win total on the season.
Oh, God, no.
If you go out and get DeAndre Hopkins, I can argue that he's worth 1.5 wins by getting a real, true threat number 1 receiver.
Yeah,
I can't say that about Ezekiel Elliott.
I think there was a potential for that anyway, and I don't think that potential exists for the running back. But I do think that they needed a veteran, and I do have.
You think with Dalvin Cook that may have been worth a win?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe.
Okay.
I will say, you want to talk about like the kind of developing opinions.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's accurate. I threw this out here to Mike a little bit when he was still in Green Bay. Pierre Strong last week, toward the end of the game on that Malik Cunningham touchdown drive, there was a 4th down they converted to get inside the 10.
Mm-hmm.
He converted it. He ran up the middle for about, 7 or 8 yards. I thought when he got tackled, it looked like he took a good helmet-to-helmet hit. He went to the sideline and didn't go to the blue tent or anything, but we have not seen him since.
Right.
He hasn't practiced since. I don't think he was in Green Bay.
I wouldn't know for sure, but I didn't see him.
Now, maybe it's just coincidental, and they had the whole thing worked out with Zeke, and he was signing when he signed anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if that upped the urgency. Okay, Strong's not available. We got to sign this guy now. We got to get him in.
Okay. What we have to get in right now and do it now are the over-unders.
Do it now.
It's time for this week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
Brought to you by the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors, outdoors, scenic views, city vibes, solo, family style, whatever moves you. Whatever the season, plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. Last week, Deuce won the week, right? Right, Matt?
5-1.
It's preseason. Doesn't
Okay.
count.
Paul and I did what?
4-2. Tied it up.
All right.
Let's go. Mac Jones series 1.5.
Paulie, Deuce, sorry,
All
you're
right.
up first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I think he'll play 2 to 3.
I too am going over.
I'm going to say over as well. You know me. I go by snap counts. I can't just imagine they're going to go, 12 plays, 75.
Right. You're good.
2 series.
Wrap it up.
I think there'll be more than 1 series.
Yeah.
All right.
Malik Cunningham QB snaps 8.5.
Paul.
I'm going to go with my heart. Over.
Yeah, I'm with Paul too. I don't know when they're going to come.
It's not your turn.
Oh, dang it.
I'm going under.
Yeah, you should. I don't.
That's what he does. He do what he do.
I don't know when they'll come, but I think he'll play a lot.
Well, you're wrong.
Fine.
Patriots touchdown scored 1.5.
Over.
Yeah, over.
Come on.
I'll take the over. They can't have
man,
another.
you guys
They
are
can't have
cowards.
another game when they only have 1 touchdown.
You guys are cowards.
They got to score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Patriots sacks allowed 4.5.
Allowed
Paul.
4.5. I'm going to take the under on that.
Under.
Yeah. Not your turn.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You sitting over here screwing me all up, Hardy.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. Over.
I'll go under.
Who turns the ball over first? New England or Green Bay?
Oh, the Patriots.
The Pack.
You're going Pack, Deuce?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say Green Bay.
And as always, we end with a total score 36.5.
That's me first under.
That feels like a lot. I'm going to go under 2.
Over. It's going to be bloody this week for me.
Hey, David Silverman, shout out. There he is.
I'm in opposition to you two on a lot of these.
Look at how much bigger Mabu is than Miles Bryant.
Hey, thank you, by the way, to Dom's Sausage, the official steak tip of the New England Patriots. You can order them online for nationwide delivery. DomSausage.com. Use promo code PATS15 for 15% off. It's promo code PATS15. Thank you to everybody for being a part of the Patriots Pregame Show. Thank you to Pete Doherty there from the Green Bay Press-Gazette for joining us, going behind enemy lines. We'll talk to you after the game. Join us then.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.